Well, hello. I actually forgot I hit the streaming button. My bad. What is up, everybody? How's it going? There I am. I am here. How is that delicious Canadian wildfire smoke? Who the hell's Peace? Kick the frog. I'm a little early, so I'm still getting stuff programmed, prepared. I was like, oh, everything's good to go. Let's see. Oh, crap. I hit the start button. I particularly like my new thumbnail I put up, just saying. Well, just don't cut off your penis by accident with the sword. What's up, drummer? I was making a new song for the show, and that's all I'm waiting on. Come on, damn it. I want the song to be done. I can play it, but... Okay, we'll have to wait till after the show. Damn it. Damn it to hell. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Wednesday. It is my Monday. Hope you're all doing very well today. Hope you're doing fantastic. I have a problem. We have to earn a lot of money for this problem. And it's a problem where we could potentially make new viewers, but it's a problem. Now, it's not really a problem, but it's funny. I thought you were supposed to have one yet. The Monday drummer, I missed it though, but maybe. So as many of you might know, I used to own a board game and card shop, right? And I used to be in the board games and cards and stuff like that back a long time ago, like 10 plus years ago. I need to also stop saying and ah. I'm trying to break myself of that habit while speaking. So I used to own a card shop and board game shop, and I used to play Magic the Gathering and stuff like that. Yeah, I used to own one way back in the day. So didn't pan out very well. I'm not very good with customer service. But I don't really like the idea of collecting stuff that much. Like, it's just not my thing unless it's ammo, but it's not really collecting because we use them, right? Well, I found out Magic the Gathering apparently is putting out Star Trek cards. And I have never wanted to go buy Magic cards in the last 10 years like I do now. So I was just like, man, I don't want to be cracking card packs on stream, but I guess I could. Not really my forte, right? But I was just like, oh man. Oh man. I can't believe it. They've hooked me. They've hooked me. So I don't know if I'm actually going to buy any. I don't have money for that shit. I have bills. My bills are more important. If anything, maybe one of you out there will be doing that and you'll save some for me and send me some. That'd be awesome. Well, I don't have one. That's the thing. Is like, it is what it is. You'll watch me rip some Magic packs? I mean, what I would do is I would buy a box, right? I would just go buy a box. We would, I don't know. Save up for a box. We'll open a whole box. And then that's it. Let's see. How much? Well, Bratty girl, see if you can get, does your son have a business license? Does he buy them by cost for the boxes of Magic? If so, see if you can have him go to GTS or one of the other ones and snag us a box. We'll pay him for it, but we'll see what we have to do with that. Yeah, Magic is checking off every pop culture IP as variants for their game. So, anyways, kind of a crazy thing that popped up made me happy. I was like, oh, that's neat. So the husband started an online shop for collectors items like that. Let me see what he can do. Okay. Either or. I'm going to frame them and stick them on my wall. That's what's going to happen with them. I just want like the Cisco one, the Defiant, a couple other ones would be cool. I played the Star Trek collectible card game when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember that. Anyways, just kind of a neat thing. You all know I really like Star Trek, and that was just really neat that it came out. I was like, oh, cool. Anyways, here's a man stuck in the portage, John. Hold on. Let me make sure he's not naked before I show this whole thing. I don't think he's naked, but there's a good chance he could be naked. Let me go see. Do we see him actually come out? Okay. So for people that don't know, a porta-john, right? Whoopee cushion what? Do I need to start farting on stream?
Watch your fucking self. Get it way back. We're going to cut all the way down. Get way back. Watch your arm. Where's your arm at? Yeah.
No, I think he's just some crackhead that's inside there. Thank you very much, Chupa, for the $1.99, good sir. Once I get $20 worth of super chats, I'll add him to the bar. Maybe he's a peeping Tom. Sir, your fly's down, just FYI. You know, I bet you if they just started pumping water in there and he was scared he's going to drown, he'd get out of there really quickly. And also, I don't know why they went from this end to open it. Why not go from the outside? Maybe so they make sure they don't hit him with, like, the Sawzall. Or, like, if you get the cops in here, you just mace the porta-john. I mean, it's trash now. Those are all, you know, unibody construction. They're not going to repair it. But I'm guessing maybe some sort of pervert. So this is in Kansas City. Firefighters were forced to come up in the porta-john after a man somehow became trapped. He's not trapped. He's a crackhead. Some pervert. Get the F out of there!
Bro, come on!
Is that Johnny Knoxville in there? This is Jackass.
No, you stick your head through. Put your head through the hole.
Officer, I'm covered in duty.
I'm the dumb fuck while sitting in a fucking urinal. That's real smart to say. Get out of there. There you go. Now take your left arm. Take that left arm. Put it straight up. Put it straight up. Bro, put that arm up.
Bro, listen. All you gotta do is catch this thing. Come out.
No, you can put your left arm straight up.
You know, dehydrated water, I'm guessing that's not the first time a fire department has gotten a call like that. Hey, there's a man stuck in the porta-john. So we're up in California, a lot of the hills where people go camping and fishing and hiking and archery and other stuff like that. Somebody went out there who's part of the Forest Service at one point, right? And they put these outhouses out there. And these outhouses are literally just big concrete pits where people shit in them because they're out in the middle of nowhere, right? So it's just a big concrete pit. They stink to high hell. I don't know if they ever pump them. I don't know if they put chemicals in there. I have no idea. Anyways, years ago, they found a dude living in one of them. Now, you would think, like, because these areas are pretty big because they're made for, like, wheelchairs. And, like, if you were creative, you could probably get, like, a hammock in there, right? And then you'd have the porta-john that's there. So, I mean, you have, and there's, some of them even have running water. I think the water came from either a wells on some of them. Other times it was from regular plumbing that they got out there. Sometimes it was just rain collection or whatever. So somebody called and said, hey, there's a man stuck in the toilet. And the fire department thinks to themselves, oh, okay, well, when we get there, where's it at? So they tell him, hey, it's over here. It's in the middle of nowhere. Right? So, okay. So they go out there. And what they were expecting to find, of course, is that they're going to open the door and there's a man stuck in the toilet, right? Like in the room, in the facility, in the parts that's made of wood that's on top. No. This guy crawled down into the sewage part of it and was just hanging out. And he was been down there for 2.5 days, apparently, until this poor hiker went in there to go take a dump. And then there's some guy being like, well, hello there, looking up at you. So they were like, oh, God. So they left and they called 911 and said, hey, there's some guy in the toilet stuck in there. And when they got him, he said that, oh, I don't want to leave. They're like, dude, you are like waist deep in sewage. Like, what do you mean you don't want to leave? So finally they got him out. It was a whole ordeal, but they got him out and they had to bring a pump truck up there first and suck the shit out of it. and then hose him down inside the hole, which I guess it's already filthy. You might as well, right? You might as well just go to town on him and just hose him down. But, you know, this is like where he's at. That is a very small area for him to crawl into. And this was like, I don't know, I think they said it was like 6 feet in diameter and like 8 feet deep. So I guess he jumped down there. He didn't realize how deep it was. Then he's, you know, waist deep in duty. And then, and whatever else was in there. Anyways, they finally pulled the guy out. He's covered in black widow bites, open sores. And the fire department was just like, oh God, you know, there's people on that job who are like, okay, this is my last day. I quit. This is terrible. I want to become George Floyd. I can't breathe down here.
I can't. Wow.
Watch your head, okay?
Do you like carry Vicks that you can put under your nose?
Do you have any Vicks you can put under their nose?
Don't move.
Oh God. Terrible, terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. I will be moving to the war stuff in a second. I just want to get some fun stuff out of the way before we proceed. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't tip the damn thing. I don't know why they didn't drill a drainage hole in the back of it, right? You're going to get shit all over the place anyways. You might as well just, you know, stop trying to mitigate it. Fresno tutor busted for allegedly grooming kids in a sex Discord. The sickening secret was allegedly uncovered by an after-school tutor at a public school in Fresno, California. Tutor worked at Fresno High School, allegedly exchanged sex abuse material with children online and arranged to meet a minor, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office said Tuesday. Keep stim Tixum? Christopher Zang? Keep stim Tix... I'm going to have a stroke trying to read this damn name. Can you all see that? Can you see what I highlighted? Keep it stim Tixum Christopher Zang. I'm guessing he's not from this country. Just saying. Was arrested after investigation by the state task force for an internet crime against children. The force is compromised 68 federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies spread throughout 9 counties in the Central Valley. He looks very trustworthy. Keeps him, tricks him. Someone had alerted the task force that Zhang was committing inappropriate acts with the children on messaging platform Discord. Among the messages were sexual explicit material. Detectives alleged, with one children allegedly sent messages tempting to arrange a meetup. Now, for anyone that wasn't paying attention to what's going on with Discord lately, Discord's AI apparently is flagging images of stuff. Those images that they're doing are isn't that my hairstyle? Sir, I don't have hair, barely. My hair is on top and very, very shaved on the sides. What up? What up? Let's see. So for people that know what's going on with Discord, people are just posting grids, and because of the ID and the thumbprint of it, people are getting banned on Discord right and left for all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do with CSAM material. But there's this guy who's openly sending CSAM material, and Discord's not stopping him, right? Which is terrible. Zhang had worked as a tutor throughout California's Teaching Fellows Foundation, nonprofit which described itself as providing school districts with school sites that train college students and future leaders who serve as role models, tutors, and active leaders. From what we found out the other day, most kids can't read in California anyways, so I feel this guy's just taking, Twitter? Twitter's fine. But, most of these kids can't read, so they don't know what the law is anyways in California. So here's this guy who's a sexual predator taking advantage of them. Zhang paid his $100,000 bail to be released from jail and has a future court date. Additional victims may come forward. Detective said that anyone with information urges to contact the Fresno County Sheriff's Office. You think he's legally supposed to be here? Like, what's the over-under he's actually illegal? I'm looking it up right now to see if he actually is, but... Or if he's here on a visa of some sort. I'm going to guess he's on here with a visa. Well, I'm going to ask the robot, do a little bit of digging on him and see what we can find. I'm going to be sure that he's probably Chinese, is going to be my guess. 26-year-old from Fresno, California is arrested July 14, 2026. Arranged to meeting with a minor, yada, yada, yada. Let's see. Is he a American citizen? Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, right? Maybe Korean. I was going to say no, but then I look back, I'm like, he could be. No public information about his citizen status. No immigration background mention or foreign nationality. Fresno is a common Hmong surname. Fresno has a high amount of Hmong community, the highest amount of Hmongs in the U.S., mostly descendants of refugees who settled during the Vietnam War / Laotian Civil War. Oh. Many in his community, especially younger generations, like 26-year-old U.S. borns, were naturalized citizens as children. So there's a good chance he actually might be looks like he might just be some Hmong that was here. Some pervert Hmong. So... Well, no, not definitely illegal. Just there's something going on. One, he's just some pervert. And if they have, you all know what my thinking is. If they have information, what to do with them.
It's a lot more comfortable at this hour, but we're still in the 80s here in the valley. So overnight temperatures not necessarily dropping, and this leads to less recovery. Still in the 80s. Here.
Lady, how do you not notice that's on you? How do you not notice that's on you? That is a carpenter cockroach. So for people that don't know anything about roaches, right? Or palmetto bugs, or where the hell they call them where you're from. I guess a palmetto bug sounds better than a cockroach. In California, I don't know where she's at, but in California, those are carpenter cockroaches. Those are the ones that eat wood and they live next to dumpsters and shit like that. Those aren't the regular ones you find in your house. The regular ones you find in your house are usually tiny, right? I've never had roaches, and I hate the idea of roaches because they're disgusting. But yeah, that thing is giant. That thing's like the size of my thumb, I think.
So overnight temperatures not necessarily dropping, and this
lady, it's on your boobs, it's on the mic. How do you not notice that cockroach?
Leads to less recovery time from the daytime.
It flew away.
Okay,
Wow, I have to.
Oh God! Oh Lord Mighty! Look at that thing.
She was really calm.
I don't know if she knew that was there at that point.
So those fly?
Yeah, they do fly. That's like a flying cockroach.
Oh, Eric.
It is.
Okay, that's our Rachel
Flying
Menitoff,
cockroach.
who is so professional. She kept her cool. There's no way I would have been able to keep my cool on this.
No way.
She probably wasn't sure what it was. You just know there's something.
Oh my
Something
gosh.
large.
No.
At the end, I have to say I'm so relieved that it jumped onto the mic because it looked like it was going to crawl like
Into her shirt or in her
clothing,
hair.
and I was like, oh
in her
God.
mouth.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
And that's one of those things that several hours later you're still feeling it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You still feel like
Yeah.
it's on your body.
Yeah.
Maybe even several days later.
Oh.
Now we're all going to have
gosh.
nightmares.
No, it's real because you see it hit her hair too, and you see how the hair moves around.
This humidity.
Well, you see, she's a news reporter, so she's dead inside already. Yuffie keeps pulling out bags of stuff. I don't know what's going on.
Help. I don't know what to do. My wife is being detained by ICE. She's in Ocean County Jail right now, and I can't get a hold of her. She keeps trying to call me, but they won't let me put money on her card. The kiosk in the Toms River jail is broken, and all the numbers and stuff they gave me wasn't right or wouldn't allow me to put money on her card. And ICE is coming there to pick her up. I need an immigration lawyer. I need help. I don't know what to do. I don't have any money. I'm so fucking broke.
Learn next time, date American. The husband of Caitlin Tracy posted a video crying about his Canadian wife was arrested for allegedly assaulting a teen girl wearing a Trump-themed attire in New Jersey. He convincingly leaves out that his wife was arrested. So what happened was, I guess this lady decided that it would be a good idea that she's from another country to assault somebody wearing a attire that she did not agree with. Now, without getting up on my high horse and dangling the balls of truth in front of your face, I'm going to tell you right now that you're not really allowed to assault people based on something they do you don't like. I know. Harsh, shocking. Also, a bunch of you have not hit the like button yet. Harsh and shocking. I understand some people don't understand that you can't just go out there and punch somebody. But, you can't do that, especially if you're from another country and possibly you're here illegally, right? Kind of a bad look.
But I gotta figure something out. I gotta save her. I need help.
Well, you got 2 lip piercings over there. You probably could do some good blowies if you need some money there, buddy.
I need you to figure out. I don't know. This just happened.
Maybe your commie wife should not have assaulted somebody. Maybe then she would still be in the country. Right? Just saying. Maybe you should have thought about, hey, crazy bitch, maybe don't assault people because you're in another country. Now, if I go to Germany and I assault somebody, you know what I'm expected? Is that the German police are going to promptly beat my ass for doing something inappropriate in their country. Or China or Japan. Well, maybe not Japan, but a lot of other countries, right, are probably going to beat my ass and throw me out of the country. Unless you do something so heinous, you get 5 years in prison and hard manual labor, like Johnny going to suck a cocky Somali, right?
I need help. I need my wife. I don't want her to get hurt. I don't want to see her get... I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Yesterday, July 13th, my wife was detained by ICE and brought...
What in the hell is on the back of his wall? 1,000 Virginians for Satan? Master? What the shit? Hey, babe, come see this. There's a lot you can learn from the people's background, right? Like, so if my camera is on, here's what you would see. Well, first, I'm going to let Yuffie see this. Ignore that, just this.
Okay. Yeah, it says 1,000 virgins for Satan's master.
Isn't it kind of weird to see on some random guy's wall?
Yeah. Also, what does the rest of that say? Frank? Yeah, Frank.
Kozisk? Kozisk?
Kosk?
Kosk? I don't know.
Kosk. I don't know.
Maybe it's
I'd
a
look it up.
concert. It looks like it says October 3rd, November, because it's upside down on the bottom too.
Oh, it's flipped around, yeah.
Well, it's flipped around, but that is also should be the other way, right?
No, it's just flipped around horizontally.
Okay. What is that? Hand sanitizer?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that little container. It's cool. Oh God, it's burned my hand.
To Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. My wife is a Canadian citizen and I'm an American citizen. We've been married for a little over 3 years, and I'm just doing anything I can to get her story heard and bring any help to and attention to her situation so that I can get her released, even if that means back to Canada. I don't care what your opinions are of me or the situation. That's kind of irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. You are literally part of the said situation, and people are not talking about it, right? Like, oh, my camera just went crazy. If you, I know you don't care about what's going on with the situation and everything like this, but ignore that while I just tell you what you should think.
All that matters is her safety and her well-being. And to all the people who want to spread rumors and misinformation, I hope you find peace one day, but you are vile.
You're the one with weird little girls on the back of your wall, bro. So she went and attacked somebody apparently for wearing Trump-themed attire in New Jersey. Apparently, there's some of the people that have been outside the Delaney Hall bitching and moaning about stuff. Oh, God. I'm hearing a bunch of audio from everywhere, and I want it to stop. You want some more videos of this wonderful person? Hold on. There's more. There's more. Look, I'm just going to say this, and this is not a sexist thing. Shave your armpits. Man, woman, doesn't matter. Nobody wants to see Don King in a headlock. Nobody. Not at all. Nobody wants that. So this is her. This is the woman who attacked people. She and her husband previously lived in Texas, and his father, with his father before abruptly relocating in New Jersey. His followers have been asking what prompted the sudden move. The couple appears to have had a dispute with another leftist, which she addresses at long length in one video, though her explanation remains quite vague. She performs in a punk rock band, and punk's kind of, stupid these days. Here's the other thing with punk. I had somebody literally tell me, right, who works for these conventions, punk's all about being nice now and like friendly. And I'm like, that is possibly one of the fruitiest things I've ever heard. And you know nothing about punk music. It was supposed to be like, F the band and F social norms, right? Not a hug box. But I thought the punk scene was just a bunch of white pansy ass fruit flies who were buzzing around a dumpster. But who am I to say?
People sing around, now people gather around, now people jump around. Get your freak on.
Gross. We're just gonna fast forward
I'm
that.
Grabmaster Hash's wife. I'm here to talk about this comment by Susie. I wanted to say hi. Hope everything's good in Toronto. So yes, as everyone has noticed, we are back in Jersey. We've been here for about 2 months trying to get our lives back together, trying to get jobs, trying to get a house.
I think it's funny that somebody who claims to be a huge lefty is wearing a Bucky shirt.
We have yet to get either one.
No job.
Yeah, we've been focusing on trying to get our lives together, which leads me to the point of why is it taking so long for us to make a video to tell you what had happened. Well, we want to make sure that we are getting our facts straight and everything together before we make a video or rush towards something, because we really want to avoid he said, she said, or anything dramatic, like drama related. We want to make sure that we're concise about what had happened. And to do that, we're going to need more testimonies from just us. We have been talking to a few people.
No, they're in some other leftist's house, some other Antifa person's house, is what I'm guessing. Because if you look, that's a very well moved in home that they're at. So before, again, they were living with the dude in the back there who was crying like a little bitch. They're living in his father's house. They got in a fight with another leftist in the area, allegedly, and then had to leave.
That have had a very similar experience to us. They reached out. We didn't reach out to them. And we want to be able to get their testimonies on what had happened to them and talk about only what had happened to us so that we can really make sure that people do know who they're buying from.
This is the last time that my wife, Kate, threw up.
Okay, we were in Atlantic City.
So they were buying drugs, it sounds like, and the drugs almost maybe killed someone. That's my guess. Since they said you got to know what you're buying from them and was very vague.
For our friend's birthday party, and we were in a car with a bunch of smokers, and I don't smoke cigarettes, and I'm actually allergic to cigarettes. It's a lame ass fact about me, but it's fucking true. And I got really fucking drunk at the casino for free, and I passed out in the room where everybody was smoking cigarettes, and I just didn't think too hard about that. And the next day I felt so sick, and then I waited. We went around, we drove around in a car, and I was all fucking sick, felt sick, but I didn't throw up yet. And then we ate Mexican food, and we drove all the way home back to Asbury Park, and I made it back to the fucking house, and I laid in bed, and I was like, I gotta go puke. And I went and I threw up all the Mexican food. It was delicious.
Wow, that's great. That's amazing. What a wonderful person to have in our country. Happy you're getting deported. Tell everybody how much America's awesome and enjoy your new life the hell away from us. Thank you, but no thanks. Thank you, but no thanks. We're not going to deal with that. Being allergic to tobacco is actually normal. We all are. It's part of how it works. It's like alcohol, right? We're all allergic to alcohol. It's not good for us. But what it does do is make you drunk. And nicotine deprives your body of other things and engages certain things in your brain that make you feel good. So what it is it's not that she's quote unquote allergic to cigarettes. It's that she got blackout drunk, probably took 10 dicks, and then had to cough up the semen later that night. Had nothing to do with the Mexican food. Though I will tell you, while you're traveling across the country, you do need to be a little bit careful about what's out there. When you're traveling, just in case. But I'm going to say it has more to do with her being an effing weirdo, is my guess. And being drunk and possibly very, very close to alcohol poisoning. That had something to do with it. She's the old semen demon. Yeah. All right. Let's see what's going on with Iran. Let's see, especially since I have that cool thumbnail that's up. How are you, chat? How is your Wednesday? How is your work week going? I know I saw you all Monday. Yeah, she has a semen allergy is what she has. Because she's a weird pervert. Think smart. Date American. Oh, you want to talk about that, feeling froggy? Sure. Yeah, I sent that news article over the Eufy earlier. Where is it? There it is. We'll just hit on this really quickly. So for people that don't know, there's been a parasitic infection going around the country, getting people sick, right? One of those people that they could be linked to is Taco Bell. So, Taco Bell has removed some ingredients from its menu to select restaurants. The company, which is finding that some of the food, apparently, in the lettuce specifically, might have a parasitic infection in it, and it was spread through everybody. Right? Because when they mix all their food together, no one really gives a shit. And there are people who work at those jobs who care, and then those people get fired, and you just get whoever the lowest bidder is they can get in there to work. And so, even if you washed and cleaned stuff, sometimes it's not enough. So, and then, YouTube not going around and cleaning the food.
That lettuce is in bags. It's pre-cut in plastic bags.
Pre-cut by who?
The company.
So if the company's out there with infected lettuce,
it comes in a big plastic.
So the lazy bastards can't even cut their own lettuce.
Yeah, it's in plastic bags.
Wow. So I guess they're sending a plastic bag. Now they're saying it's the water supply. It can't be the water supply at every single location. Like, that's nuts. There's no way that's happening. Are you kidding me? The last thing I mentioned, or one of the times, not the last thing, but one of the things I mentioned about Taco Bell is that there was a court case where one Hispanic guy who didn't speak English got promoted above another Hispanic guy, and the guy who didn't get promoted decided that the best thing to do is stab the other guy in the head with a knife because he wanted the promotion. Those are the people working at Taco Bell. So just so you can enjoy thinking about that. People working at Taco Bell, again, not the brightest of all people. And the ones that were there, again, stabbing somebody in the head with a knife for not getting the promotion. So, again, not a big surprise now that they got nasty ass lettuce spreading around, because the people who are probably bagging it and handing it out probably not being clean either. Probably in there vomiting in the bag of lettuce. Blah, sensed out. Oh, God. It's only a matter of time until, yes, the source is found, and then people start being like, hey, these guys are out here shitting in the lettuce bags. What's going on with that? So, all right. Let's see what's going on with the Iran. Good old Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Yeah, we're talking about the poop parasite and how it is, how it's been linked to Taco Bell. I'm trying to open up my new stuff here. Tio, of course, is not around. Johnny never on the spot. Oh, no, he is around. I take that back. I take it back. He is around. I'm happy your garden is safe. Do not poop in your garden. I don't eat Taco Bell anymore since I learned how stuff was made. And I was like, nope, no thanks. I'm good. Status Cuck is out in wherever it is at an anti-ICE protest. I eat the local taco truck, which I know the guy. For some odd reason, this and the scenes in 1 and 4 kind of go hand in hand in my brain. NYC as the end, I think, of the World Cup. Is that today? I'll give it. Off the hook. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. That's weird, dehydrated. Come on, Streamlabs, work.
Darlene has just tipped $10.
Thank you very much for the $10. First 10 of the night. Chupacabra at $1.99, which I haven't added yet because it's one until super chats get in there. Oh, where is my Iran news I want? There is a lot of Iran news I want. I'm waiting for the damn thing to log in so I can get my info. Database error. Well, Glint seems to be down, or I was getting a lot of my news. I have to go to one of the other things I use. Damn it. Give me a moment to find what information I need. There we go. So far, Iran attempts to close again the Strait of Hormuz. 3 takers damage. U.S. sinks 9 Iranian warships. Global shipping in the area is paused at the moment. I'm looking for the other thing I used to use because one of the news sites I use is down. Well, that's one of the things I wanted. What the hell's the other one?
Go home now. Come back again tomorrow, everybody.
I know, damn me.
Bye. See you.
Why is Mercado Media working for Status Quo now? Huh. Isn't that kind of weird? Huh. Why is Mercado Media not on his own channel? Is it because his channel took a giant nosedive after he told everybody on his channel he hated them? Maybe. I wonder why that is. Is it because he's gone so far to the left he needs somewhere to call home? Maybe. Is it because him and Status Quo are having sex with each other? Probably.
Joining us today. Rocky, we're going to get to you in just a second. Rocky Weiss is standing by here to talk about the developments there at the Strait of Hormuz. But first, I want to stay a little bit longer with this new wave of strikes from CENTCOM that Carolyn was just talking about there at the top of her report. So take a look at this. A social media post courtesy of U.S. Central Command that was released just moments ago. They say this. At 6 a.m. Eastern time today, U.S. Central Command forces began launching a wave of strikes against Iran. The strikes are designed to further degrade military capabilities Iranian forces have used to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, these strikes are not the newest wave. Of course, this has been going on for several hours now.
I'm looking for the chase.
In fact, we did get new video overnight from CENTCOM. Take a look at this. We showcased it a little bit earlier on here in our program, but this was also released on the platform on X from...
Shut up! Nobody cares! We have a chase!
Turning left there, coming southbound. So it's chase is on very well. They're going to stay real close to it. And like I said, with the assault on a peace officer, that's a
assault on an officer.
And they will do more to try to catch this suspect than you would for just a simple stolen vehicle or a property.
Thank you very much for the 199.
LAPD has to weigh all their options and all the risk versus rewards.
What's that $20 super chat?
Manage it as it goes along.
Well, Tim, you mentioned this being near the LAX area. We had Florence earlier, and this wide shot, like you said, there is because of the restrictions for a helicopter given that LAX airspace. We did see when that driver went through that one intersection, we saw that there were two pedestrians in the crosswalk. One was going one way, the other way, and the driver kind of went through the middle, and it just made me just cringe there, thinking how dangerous this pursuit can be with pedestrians or people there out on the street. This This street here looks much more residential even.
Yeah, this whole area down here is very tight. The streets are small, and there's a lot of people living in this area. Very little manufacturing in this area as they're in right now. But as he crosses over the main street here, see if I can pick up the street as he goes through there. I can't quite read the sign. 105. So yeah, he's just off of the 110 freeway, just north of it. So it's, this is just a chase. It's going to be going through here. The speeds are up pretty good, bouncing through those intersections. And right there, a unit stopped in the middle. Hopefully, that unit deployed a spike strip. Well, we won't know for a few minutes to see what happens here. But continuing, working its way in. It's now going to be going more than likely eastbound. The number of streets go east-west at this point. And so right through this intersection, luckily, we just turned red, but made that left right-hand turn coming back towards, and you can see now on Central at 108, 109. So out into the main thoroughfare that goes through that area, luckily out of the residential areas, because as I was saying, it's very tight, lots of people, lots of multi-family dwellings and pedestrians everywhere. And that's a problem at this time of night at 5. You have a lot of people out now making that U-turn, coming around, same units on it, and that gets going. So as we continue on here, it looks like we're going to start a pit.
Yeah, right. Watching that pretty closely there. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, kind of got up there in position to hit that pit, but more than likely saw the traffic ahead and has to be very careful. It's going to get trapped in here.
We've been in traffic.
Get
really close to hitting the back of the car.
It goes to those cars and then back along Central here as we continue north now on the road going through 108. But you see there's damage on the car already up on the front end there. With unknown what caused that. Was that caused in a collision with a peace officer's vehicle?
Tim, passenger door
coming open.
Passenger door open. Somebody giving up. Somebody wants out of that car, giving up right there. Let's see if the driver does as well. I was going to note that we noticed there was a passenger in the car. All right, driver giving up as well. Hands up. Don't know if that's because of the damage to the car, but suddenly they decided to exit that vehicle quite rapidly. Tim, go ahead and take it.
Yeah, at this point, the LAPD will then just take their time here, bringing the suspect away from the car, bringing them back towards them normally. And it's going the wrong way here. So,
is he going to run? Oh, damn it. I was hoping he was going to run.
Obviously putting him forward. Other officers watching that passenger on the ground who's gone down on her own, laid prone. Driver is prone in the roadway. You never know what causes these people to just give up in the middle of a pursuit like this, where they're going so fast and then just stop. Maybe the car gave up on them with all that front end damage. But you see the officers are taking their time, putting together tactics, put together an approach team for the car, and 2 arrest teams for each suspect.
Tim,
you never know what's laying.
Yeah, let me just note how hot it is outside. We're all here at Fox 11 looking at that pavement and reminded of our lead story, the heat. I got to think that's pretty darn hot out there. But also, you look at the number of officers there, and they are staying back right now. We don't think there are more people in the car. Don't know for sure. But the way that, there you go, moving in there, the way that passenger flew out of that car, that could be alarming to police as well. You have somebody with the door open. The car was even moving when the guy tried to jump out.
You can take it both ways. The suspect's trying to get an advantage on the pursuing officer, or the suspect is like, I'm done with this. I want out of the car, and maybe didn't want any part of this pursuit in the beginning. So you have to weigh it on the worst side, that this subject is going to be a threat, and you respond to it, because I'll always say it's easier to decelerate your awareness. In other words, go up, expect the worst and hope for the best. Now the thrust teams are going up on the driver. Other officers are clearing the car. And so you always do that to be able to react to whatever may happen, because if you expect the worst and it doesn't happen, or it does happen, you're able to respond to it, but then you're always able to back down. It's hard to play catch up on the end of these pursuits. So you never know what you're going to get in that car once it comes to a stop. Are they going to come out guns blazing, or are they going to get out and just give up after this wild pursuit through the South LA area?
All right, Tim, well, this is the way we do want them to end, with suspects in custody and nobody hurt, this being a dangerous pursuit. We thank you for your time and your help on this one. We're going to let you go and continue on here with the rest of the news.
Bullshit. Ah.
Showcased it a little bit earlier on here in our program, but this was also released on the platform on X from CENTCOM, and it includes some footage of those strikes that are continuing at this hour. The Strait of Hormuz, though, still continues to be the main focus as disruptions continue. So I do want to bring into the program here Rocky Whites, the professor of maritime studies at the Fletcher School at Tufts University. Rocky, let's pick up where that report from Caroline left off. So Iran responding with force. In fact, their paramilitary Revolutionary Guard threatening Wednesday to halt all energy exports from the Middle East over this blockade. What kind of impact would this have? How serious is this move?
So thanks for having me. Very timely reporting you're doing. So yeah, this is after 4 nights of strikes and now some daytime strikes. The IRGC wants to respond. They'll be trying to launch whatever they have left to disrupt commercial shipping. So if their commercial ships are likely passing through the southern route over the Omani coast, so hugging that southern coastline of the Strait of Hormuz, staying as far away as they can from the Iranian coast. But they'll try to launch drones toward those vessels. They might try to get small boats out to either attack the vessels directly or to try to lay some mines. That would complicate things for the U.S. And so the fact that the U.S. is doing daytime strikes, I think, is notable because that should help keep the Iranians kind of on their back heels as they try to do.
Can I just say I'm really happy Peter Griffin has a new job?
To mess with the shipping industry during the day. So we'll see. I think we're going to probably be seeing this at least for the next several days, if not for a few weeks. It might be this kind of U.S. strikes. They try to go for the commercial shipping. What both sides are trying to do is convince the commercial shipping industry one way or the other. So the U.S. wants to convince the shipping industry that, hey, it's safe enough to go. You can go ahead and go through the Omani waters. We'll provide some air cover. We'll try to shoot down those drones that come toward your way, or we'll shoot the small boats that are trying to attack you. And the Iranians are essentially saying, nobody's going through. And therefore, if you're going through, we're going to try to attack your vessels. And so it's really like the commercial shipping industry is kind of an innocent bystander here. They're just trying to get cargo out of the Gulf into global markets. And for the implications, the last question you asked, obviously this has an impact on energy markets.
So we started bombing 12 hours ago is what happened. So in the morning, which would be night for them, we started bombing already. Tehran is getting, again, Iran's not a small country. Like, it's not a big country, but it's a legitimately good size. I think it's bigger. It's bigger than Italy. It's bigger than Spain. So I think it's around bigger than Germany and France. So it's a pretty good sized country for stuff to be happening at. Which is why everybody's like, oh, but why isn't the war over? Well, it's because it's a war. Like, it's not an easy thing. And the problem is that the bottlenecks, right? Or that you see right there on the screen. And that bottleneck is, pretty damn big, but still, it bottlenecks and makes it easier for them to hit in that area.
Particularly in Asia.
Is it bigger than Texas? Yes. Yes. It's like half the size of the United States.
So if crude oil flows stop again, we'll see rising prices.
Let's say 1/3 if we include Alaska too, but like the general United States, I think it's about like 1/3 the size.
In Asia, and just like we saw earlier this year, that'll eventually ripple to Europe and even to the United States.
I want to stay with this military aspect here and kind of the positioning there in and around the Strait, Rocky, because we've been talking about it for the last couple of days because it's very interesting how things are shaping up. So reporting is saying that there are at least 19 U.S. warships in the Arabian Sea, including 2 aircraft carriers and an amphibious assault ship with more than 1,000 Marines aboard. Rocky, can you put that into context for our viewers here? How is this positioning looking like there in the area, you that study all of this maritime traffic?
So that's quite a bit of naval power. That's a little bit less than we had before, because we at one point had 2 of the Marine Expeditionary Units there and a few more destroyers, but it's plenty of naval power to be, and they're really focusing their attacks a lot on that northern coastline of the Strait of Hormuz. So I think, you know, in context, a lot of U.S. firepower. Plus, there's also U.S. Air Force assets that are pre-positioned in the region in the Gulf countries. So those will also be able to assist in securing the strait.
Staying here with some of the comments that President Trump has said throughout the last couple of days, I'm sure, Rocky, you have seen. He had announced the return of the blockade Monday. He also said he would impose a 20% fee on ships passing through the strait. Now, he since dropped those plans, but that would change long-standing American policy that promises that the strait would remain open without tolls. What kind of real significant changes are we seeing here?
She used to be fatter, I think. Anyways, I think she was pregnant, but that's nor here nor there. We are not going to be charging tolls. What we're charging for is protection money, or we're going to break their legs, right? Let's get this right. Having the biggest military in the world, we get to throw our weight around now. Listen, you want to make sure the Iranians don't blow up your boat? Better pay up. Or you can get your country you're flying your flag over to get the stupid ass over here and protect you their own goddamn selves. Just saying.
As we hear some of the rhetoric from President Trump, as this idea of charging tolls is kind of floating in the air. I mean, what could
not toll protection money
really come next?
Yeah, I think it's really good that he kind of backed away from that. So you know, it was in a very technical sense, it would have been compliant with international law, because it was essentially a voluntary charge for providing security, much like you know, shipping companies can hire private security companies to go through. But if it was a required, if you're passing through the toll, you have to pay us this fee for us to secure it, which it wasn't. But if it were that, and that's what the Iranians have said, that if you go through, you have to pay us a toll, that is contrary to international law. This is an international strait, like the Strait of Gibraltar, the Strait of Malacca. The coastal states can't charge fees or tolls for passage. You're able to go through with what's called transit passage. I think it's very good that he backed away from that, because it causes lots of confusion on the messaging. Because from my perspective, the real aggressor here is the IRGC. They're the ones that are attacking commercial ships. They've attacked 7 commercial vessels. They've killed some crew members, including from India, which is a neighbor, historically has, you know, a working relationship with the Iranians. So they're the aggressor. And then by basically saying, well, we're going to charge it 20% as well, it confused the picture. So I'm glad he moved away from that. Instead, what came out was that there'll be sort of a reciprocal investment in the United States by the Gulf countries. They were already planning to do a lot of those investments. Maybe they'll increase them some. So, and that there's some historical precedent for that too. So, you know, when during the Gulf War, we were covering that, and the Japanese, you know, kind of assisted in payments for that, and also invested in the United States a lot. So this has happened before. From my perspective, the important thing for the U.S. to do is to stay focused and on message, and do their best to articulate essentially that this southern route above the Omani coast is secure. It's cleared of mines. There'll be U.S. military there guiding ships through, providing air cover as needed. And I think that increased tempo of strikes should have a positive impact in making it a lot more difficult for the IRGC to do what they...
He is a hoe.
What they did a couple, like I guess about 10 days ago, when I think it was July 7th, they started hitting commercial ships. So hopefully the hits on commercial ships go down. I think a lot of the passages will happen at night. That's what happened in March and April. So I hope that gives you some context.
Hey, Baz.
That actually also leads me to my next question.
Hey,
after we've seen these continued U.S. strikes there against Iran, Iran continues to attack these commercial ships, according to U.S. military. But how much leverage does Iran still have there after we've seen kind of all of this degrading of their capabilities by the U.S. military? I mean, how much control do they still have of the Strait of Hormuz?
So if you kind of think about a way to frame it, what I've done with my students during this conflict is, think about what are the advantages that the United States and its allies have, and what are the advantages that the IRGC has in Iran. What Iran has is
oil, power, people, not an oppressive government that is telling women to wear burqas. Mind you, I will say America could be less oppressive and maybe stop spying on us and maybe get the Second Amendment to not be infringed and maybe stop paying taxes. What's up, Savage? How's it going, buddy? Latverian Savage is our representative from Latveria. Anyways, it's a very lovely country at this time of year. We have a lot more stuff than Iran has, right? And Iran's kind of losing favor around the world. Trump will reportedly accuse China of compromising U.S. voter data and claim the CIA withheld evidence from him during this first term. I openly believe, yeah, there you go. See, that's also what his people think of us in Latveria. So I lost my train of thought. Thanks. They'll come back to me momentarily. Give me a second here to figure out what the hell I was talking about before I was before I read that. I fully believe that China and Russia have been having their fingers deep inside our pie, if you know what I mean, and controlling the United States, or trying to, for a while. Like, I think that's just kind of a thing we all know. And now that they have more of a smoking gun, what's going to be done about it? Well, I don't know, right? Like, one of the problems is if you have Chinese companies come there and buying up land left and right, people moving here. And I don't know if you've ever seen how some Asians buy land and what they do. Like, if you have a quarter acre land, they will build like to the property line in every direction until it is just swamped with buildings. My parents are dealing with that with their neighbor next door. They had a mother-in-law unit. They have a front house. Then they had a garage. Well, they just spent the last, I want to say 6 months converting the garage into another dwelling, and they destroyed everything. It used to be a really beautiful house. The people who used to live there prior were a nice old couple, and before they died, and they took care of it, and they had like chickens and gardens, all kinds of stuff. Well, they got rid of all that and just started putting more and more buildings on. Problem with that is then you have people that move in. Those people that move in vote a certain way, and that way is not necessarily good, and it's not really voter fraud at that point because those people are legally allowed to be here and vote, but it is like a long-term undermining of what's going on. So that's something you got to kind of keep in mind too, right? Like about what's going on with the voter, again, not fraud stuff, but manipulation. That might be a better way of looking at it, is voter manipulation. So now we have the stuff coming out with Trump. We're figuring out that not only was China helping Iran, gave them all kinds of anti-air defense systems, which apparently didn't work. They're also one of the biggest importers of oil from that area. So there's a lot going on. And now we're finding severe election interference from China. Again, not really surprising. More, I want to see what's going to happen once it comes to pass, right? Do you guys like it when I talk like this more? Like when I'm just kind of chilled? I like talking like this more.
They have geography. As you look at that map on the screen, there's a lot of mountains that are near the Strait of Hormuz. They've been building a lot of coastal infrastructure for 47 years to withstand attacks from the air. And so there's caves and tunnels and all kinds of things that, again, we will continue degrading. And eventually, you know, their 47-year investment will be degraded enough that they have much less capability. But because of the rise of drone warfare, which I think is really the theme of what we've seen in 2026, not just here, but also in the Black Sea, with Ukraine using drones very effectively against the Russian ships, that drones are cheap. If you have geography on your side, the drones are cheap and quite effective for their cost, that it really complicates the response, it gives some advantage to the defender. Now, what does the U.S. have? Well, U.S. has international law on its side. This is an international strait, has a lot of friends in the region, all those Gulf Cooperation Council countries, has a lot of military assets in the region. And actually, although they don't say a lot of it publicly for different reasons, Asian countries, European countries, essentially the whole world wants the strait reopened. I would say
it's not wants the straits, it's that they need the strait reopened. Right? They have to have the strait reopened. It's not a we want it. It's that we have to have it because multiple countries are getting oil from there. Now, United States doesn't fully rely on the oil from there, but it does subsidize us. Could we live without it? Yes. Is it really going to affect our prices? Probably not. But the future shares is what kind of gets an issue. Because the future shares out there start panicking and start worrying about what's going to happen, right? Where things are going to go. So the future shares will start freaking out, and then prices rise.
Latverian Savage has just tipped $5. Remember, folks, if you have an Asian and gardening problem as an American, you offer the power to create a second sun on Asian property. Never let THR bug-dyed vermin take hold. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Savage, for the fiber, buddy. See, that's the fun thing with the super chats. Is, I really don't police it, and people say whatever the hell they want. And believe it or not, there's some heinous shit that comes through the super chats that I just kind of blink and laugh my ass off, and there's nothing else I could possibly do. So
the only country besides
thank you, buddy, for the fiber.
That's okay with it being closed is Russia because it increases oil prices. So their
and China.
Oil has higher rates on the market, but everybody else from African countries to Asian to European and here in the Americas, everyone really wants this open. So the more that the Iranians disrupt commercial shipping, and again, these are innocent seafarers. They're just doing their jobs. They're for third countries. I mean, a lot they've hit these sort of Greek-owned tankers that are sending crude oil and refined petroleum products globally to markets, killing Indian seafarers. They're not in this fight. So I think that those are the advantages. But from a
so he was the only person besides myself to talk about people from India getting killed. Jesus. He was the only one who, besides myself, who mentioned the Indians getting killed, which now India's part of this because now their people are getting killed. It's not like they're short people. Well, that's the problem, is they're short skilled people, right? So yeah, they might have like 2 billion people, but what, let's say 100,000 of them are actually worth anything. The problem again with India is that it's a caste system, and you have a majority of the people there. What's going on, Larry? You have a majority of the people there who are dirt farmers and like shitting in the street. And then you have other people who are like, they went to college, they learned what to do, they had to be a productive member of society. But then they leave India and they say, screw this place, we're not sticking around. I can't say I blame them whatsoever either. I mean, if I lived in India, I wouldn't want to stick around there. Like, and I guess there was an article I was reading the other day. It says like 98% of everybody that comes from India has to get like parasites removed and all kinds of shit from living over there. They're like, oh, I've never felt so good.
Military perspective, this is a hard problem to solve because we've seen this real increase of sophistication in drone warfare when you have geography on your side. So particularly in what are called congested waterways, so small waterways like the Strait of Hormuz. Same applies to the Red Sea and other other choke points like Strait of Malacca.
To your point there, Rocky, a lot of reports are saying that experts say that it's going to require a much more military force if the U.S. were to reopen the strait by force, so to speak. Rocky, we always appreciate your analysis here as the Strait of Hormuz continues to be in focus throughout this war. Is there anything else you feel that you have to add to our viewers? We're going to be watching this for the next several days, several.
If he turned around at the end of this and just says, I'm going to kick the shit out of the chicken man before it ended, I think I would just lose my shit and start rolling on the ground laughing.
Weeks. What should they be paying attention to close? closely.
So the last point I'll make is the importance of looking at the oil markets globally. So the biggest driver of U.S. gasoline increases recently has actually been Ukraine's very successful attacks against the refineries in Russia, also using drones. So this global market for gasoline and diesel, as well as crude oil. So there's lots of inputs into that. The crude oil price is one, but then you have to have refining capacity. And Russia had.
You know, one thing nobody's really mentioning or talking about, what do those drones use for power? Right? Like usually when you look at a device, right? You look at whatever device it is, bombs, missiles, whatever, aircraft. You look at stuff that makes them and that becomes really expensive, right? Now, what would that be? Like what in those drones is the cash crop? Can any of you guess what it is? Can you figure out what it is? What maybe an investment would be? You have till the song is done. It is two things, lithium and petroleum. And then copper, right? Those would be the three things. Lithium, petroleum, copper. Why is that? Because even before you get to the microchips, right? Believe it or not, we have more than enough microchips laying around to make the drones. There are so many old cell phones you can pull stuff out of and make that the brain of the drone to work. It's phenomenal. But the one thing that you really need, again, is you need the batteries. You need the petroleum to make the plastic. And you need the copper for the wiring. So if you haven't already invested in those things, I would say keep an eye on that. Because as drone warfare starts to take off more and more, right? You start having the cash crop needed. And that cash crop, again, it's not a crop, right? It's a mineral we pull up out of the ground. And where I live, not too far from me, 2-3 hours, they found a lithium vein. Now, once that vein gets tapped, I'm moving the hell out of here because I don't want whatever the hell is going to be coming downstream from it. But for now, though, I would say if you could figure out in Oregon who is mining the lithium up there, it would probably be a really good idea to start investing in it, would be my guess. Now, I am no financial expert. This is not a financial advice. This is just my own way of thinking. And again, you don't want me investing in it because with my luck, the minute I put $1 into it, it drops 10. So you don't want that. You don't want that whatsoever. So I don't invest stuff, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea to start looking into those areas of mining and production. I don't think they're being fully pulled out right now. Tesla. The hell is this on my hand? Piece of foam? Where'd that come from? Tesla developed a new process for it, much cleaner and simpler, but is it going to be more expensive for those drones, right? That's the question. Because you don't need it for the high-end stuff, right? Like let's say the batteries you use for your house or your car or your battery bank, your Tesla battery bank on the wall or something like that, or a business. These are very small, single use, fly up, do the thing, and kablammers, right? Okay, Brady, thank you. Well, so right. So wherever that mine is, and if you got somewhere that's building on a mine, you now have miners that need a place to live. They need grocery stores. They need bars. They need all that good stuff, right? All that good stuff out there to provide for those weapons. Cobalt, that's another good one. Yeah, absolutely. It's like the people that made all the money off of uranium. So I would say that's a good idea right now.
significant
Cool,
refining
brother.
capacity. They would export gasoline and diesel. They've imposed a ban on diesel exports because they've had the Ukrainians have been successful enough with their drone attacks to disrupt that. So that would be my piece of advice, that the Strait of Hormuz is probably the biggest story this week. But in addition to that, what Ukraine is doing with Russia is also in that picture. The thing that unifies them is this rise of drone warfare and how complicated it is to combat.
Rocky White's professor of maritime.
Drone warfare is not hard to combat. It's having enough money and supplies already put into position to combat it, right? So we have the RTD2, that's made to shoot out missiles. We've been using that for drones. It's working fine. The thing is, with how small the drones are, for most of them. Now, I'm not talking about the Cherie, Abu Dhabi cannoli or whatever the hell the big one is that they use. Even that, though, few well-placed, 50s in and it's gone. But drones need to be light and maneuverable. And that little battery, which is ever in it, depending on how big the battery is. And yes, there is ones that are made off of gasoline or jet fuel or hopes and dreams or whatever people are sticking in them that can go. But, the main thing is they need to be light and maneuverable so they can carry a bigger payload. So if you have different means already to take out faster things that are made of metal and go kablammers like a missile, those will help take out those drones also. Problem is that a lot of places have not thought 4 or 5 steps ahead for that, right? So I think there's a lot of countries out there who are still fighting wars more traditionally, like they're AK-47s, boots on the ground, ready to just, go ham on people. And all of a sudden you have this drone flies over and drops, a hand grenade on you. You're not expecting it. Or you're in a building firing out of this building. You have a drone that flies up and flies in and just detonates, right? It's more of a precision munitions versus spray and pray or, firing for effect and stuff like that. We are moving to, instead of, hey, there's a guy in that building, let's destroy the building. There's a guy in that building, let's detonate a grenade right by his head. Bad Christian, that was nasty. Also, can someone make sure Bad Christian's on live? That was from a while ago. Yeah, I heard that they're working on a new canal to cut Iran out. They're also working on a pipeline. They also said that they might just do the boats move from one part and then they bring the oil to this next part and just pump it out. And then there's a short run of pipe to another storage facility. It's on the other side where there's boats waiting for them, right? So you can have boats on both sides and they're just the pipeline. The only thing the pipeline's doing is a transfer station in there. So there's different ways of doing that. There's different ways of trying to move the oil that does not necessarily take a boat to go through. So you have a boat moving again from the upper part of the strait down, unload, transfer station to another part of the strait. At first it might be a little bit hectic, but the problem is now you have a stationary target. And we already know Iran will start shooting missiles at literally everybody around them. So that's kind of something to take really in mind, is like how soon can we get this built? And is it going to be reliably able to be used in a quick enough fashion, right? So are we going to be coming out there and getting this thing built and never gets used in the next 5 years because the war is already over? Who knows? And I would say that's kind of the harder thing to kind of manipulate what's happening. As we continue.
With breaking news as we are learning CENTCOM.
Whoever did that guy's hair needs to pull up a picture of baby Huey and put it next to him and then ask him, what the hell were you doing? Why did you think this was a good idea? U.S. strikes Israel missile sites as tensions escalate. That was from, that should have been less than an hour ago. Let's go see. Why is my thing not updated? It is updated and I'm on the wrong thing. Let's see. The Black Sea is at a 50% disruption state. Middle East maritime disruptions 50%. Why did this not update? Do I have to refresh you? I might have to refresh you. Usually I use a different site. That one's currently down. So I'm relying on a less, I don't say accurate, but sure the hell does not update as fast as the other one did. There was like updating like within seconds. This one's updating within hours, which is a pain in my butt.
And the U.S. Striking Iran for the second wave today. Let's take a look here at the updates from U.S. Central Command, putting it out on X. At 3 p.m. Eastern, U.S. forces launched operations for a second wave of strikes against Iran. The strikes are targeting Iranian military capabilities used to threaten vessels freely transiting through the Strait of Hormuz, an international waterway vital to global commerce. The U.S. military is holding Iran accountable at the commander-in-chief's direction. Again, this is the second wave of strikes today. The first wave happening around 6 a.m. Eastern, and now we are getting this update from Central Command there that more has been done and will be continuing out there in the Middle East. So tensions continuing to rise there. We'll be keeping an eye on it for you right here on Live Now from Fox.
Well, that was awkwardly. Okay, we're going to watch Judge Melion from here on out. Man, the internet has been slow as balls today, and I have no idea why. Iran, again, has been hit with multiple areas today. Multiple missile sites are being taken out. So it's not going very well. Iran has released footage showing the drones monitoring a U.S. aircraft carrier as it transitions the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC also warned the U.S. to keep all aircraft on deck during the passage. Clear message, movement is being monitored. That is from the IRGC, mind you. The video that they show is from 2013 or 2023, not from the current time. But the IRGC apparently has their own Twitter account or somebody trying to be them, and the footage is old and actually not even a current vessel. So don't believe everything you hear. Erbil is back on the radar tonight. The U.S. maintains forces on Erbil Air Base on one of its main military hubs in Iraq. The use has been repeatedly targeted by Iran-backed militias. Videos circulating online show multiple drone launched towards it, and several reportedly intercepted by U.S. air defenses. Footage also suggests at least one drone may have made it through, though this has not been independently verified. That was from 6 hours ago, so I'm guessing it has not. Has not. So again, the IRGC is currently trying to push things. Trying to make some fake stuff up on Twitter, I'm guessing. Try to get people interested. What is this? Let's see, there's a protest for in 102-degree heat right now for anti-ice, which seems stupid because in the hot weather, I feel like ice would be great for you. I feel like that would really help you. People are warning that Iran might turn to an all-out war. I think Iran is already an all-out war with us, to be honest. EBT Internet? There was an article, actually, something that related to that. Now that you mention it, Felon. So I guess there was servers that were specifically made to host the Obama phone and some other phones, and they are now being discontinued. So what's happening now is a bunch of mobile carriers are buying up these services left and right. So like Mint and Verizon and AT&T and everybody else, T-Mobile, are buying up these different services, and a lot of these people with the Obama phones are all of a sudden looking down and they're getting a bill finally. Hey, you pay up the bill, we're going to charge your cell phone. But then there's government programs also you can re-up and it pulls your phone down to $10 a month or something. Which again, I pay $30 for mine for 2 phones. So I don't know. I feel like cell phones now are just a basic thing. They're cheap. Everyone can own them. So I don't think we really need the Obama phone thing. Top of that, and also moving on from that to cell phones, company released a $499.99 flip phone. It has no internet, can only make calls, very basic. It does have data, right? And the data on it is very limited about what it can do. $500 for this phone. Mind you, I can go on eBay right now or even Amazon and buy a brand new phone for $50 that does the same thing. So buyer beware out there right now. What does an Obama phone look like? Let me go pull one up for you. Hold on. So it was from the Federal Lifeline Assistance Program. Let's go see. Oh, so it was a smartphone. It was a legitimate Android smartphone. Free high-end device with select plans. Upgrade to 5G device on 80% discount. Join AirTalk Wireless. So apparently they were like older. They weren't Samsungs, but like the same look as a Samsung. They weren't an iPhone either. It was some low-end Android phone. I'm trying to even get the name of it. And income is 135% or less than the federal poverty guidelines. The guideline is based on your household size and state. You qualify for a lifeline for one of suggested household. Participate in one of these federal assistance programs. Supplement Nutrition Assistance, so SNAP, Medicaid, Supplemental Security, Federal Public Housing, Veterans Pension and Survivor Benefits, Tribal Programs. So if you're in any of those, Tricky, you could probably get a free phone. Now, the other thing is you could also bring your own phone and they would just give you a chip, right? Yes, you qualify for that, Ragul. Service provider that offer you a lifeline is required to meet these standards. For cell phones, at least 750 minutes. For mobile internet, data speed of 3G or better, and usage of at least 1 gigabyte per month. For fixed broadband speeds of 15 to 2, so 15 down, 2 up, which is very slow. The usage of at least 250 gigs per month. So this was the old Lifeline program. This is October 2nd. This was put out. And this is for Triage Cancer that put this out, this article to help people out who have cancer to go get a cell phone if needed. A lot of them, though, from what I heard, is people would go out, they buy their own cell phone. They are at least 4G now, if not more, with unlimited talk and text. I don't think anybody anymore really charges for talk and text anymore because it doesn't, there is no like bucket of time and data that's just sitting there, right? Just heard 50K ground troops in Iran. Yeah, we have no ground troops in Iran. We have 50,000 troops around there, like Bolowedes. We have troops in the different parts of the region, sure, but not in Iran. Maybe 50,000 on the boats, but not in Iran. Not yet, anyways, as far as we know. Because I feel like that would be all over the news too. America, boots on the ground in Iran would be a huge thing. Everybody would be talking about it, right? So that's the Obama phone. I believe that if you have a phone that you have to use for work, it should just be a flip phone. I guess the reason that they say they need the smartphones, which I also understand that too, and I'm not going to knock it too much, because if you have a smartphone, you could use it also as a computer, right? So for my smartphone, I actually have a keyboard for it where I could pop the sucker up and use it as a tablet if needed. So if you're going and like filling out things like job applications or medical information, it might actually be useful. So I can kind of understand that. Also, we've had smartphones for 20 years now, right? So I'm guessing there is a surplus of them just sitting around that nobody's really using anymore. They don't have to all match, right? I looked into the free phone a while back. The service was so basic it would have cost more money for the service than I have. Yeah, and so the qualifier for some of them is that I think there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through, and that if you jump through all those hoops, then it becomes free. You don't have to pay for anything. But again, you have to be on like a subsidized income. You have to prove you can't afford a phone. You have to prove you need it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, hey, I need this, otherwise I'm not able to work. They give it to them. They're still not working, but they get a free phone, free service. But cell phones are kind of a lifeline of the world now. So in certain people's eyes, they believe that you absolutely need one, right? Life was a lot different before internet, especially when you had to track those down those damn carrier pigeons and, put the note on them. So JD Vance and Joe Rogan got into a heated debate about aliens versus demon issue. I don't know why that's an issue. I have no idea what that is about. Vice President extremely candid about the belief and goes into the great details of his opinion that these beings are demonic and or angelic. Rogan stays strong in the stance that these beings are most likely aliens or a species from Earth that has remained hidden from hunters or humans. I feel like there is more going on in the world than that has any bearing on. But apparently they went, I'm not going to put the whole thing on. They started going on about it for like 10 minutes. Florida congressional candidate and former Marine William Upham apparently has opened his mouth and done a stupid.
God and country.
Now, it says former Marine, but from what I understand, once a Marine, always a Marine, unless you get discharged and the other Marines beat you up and throw you out, right? Now, I don't know anything about this man. But what he says is a little shocking, and probably someone who used to get beat up in boot camp is my guess.
For God and country. This is the motto of my campaign. I decided to run for office to fix our broken political system, to restore bipartisanship, return power to the working class, and to end our system of Washington insiders, extremism, and excuses from our current members of Congress. I've reached a turning point in my campaign. Why? I've come to the realization that our country is broken. We are led by a president who's the enemy of God, and President Trump will never bring us together like God intended. Democrats are wrong because they're wrong on the common sense issues. Enforcement of our criminal laws, border security, national security, and social issues that are 80-20. Republicans are wrong because they never address the racism and discrimination that has persisted in our country for generations. Is our country salvageable? Maybe it is. Our founding fathers intended us to be the freest country on this planet, and that's what we became. But in doing so, we became the most selfish. We turned away from God. We turned away from love and kindness, and we turned away from putting others first. I served in the United States Marine.
Hey, calm down. Don't throw the libertarian word around. I don't want to be in the same thing as this guy. He was medically discharged. William Lingtag Upham, former U.S. Marine officially medically discharged in 2025, currently running as a write-in Republican candidate in August 18, 2026, primary for Florida's 5th Congressional District. Upham gained significant station in the mid-2000s after opposing, 2026, after posting a video which he referred to the president as a false messiah, the Antichrist, and the enemy in the spiritual war, while making statements interpreted as urging violence against him, saying that he must be murdered. The Marine Corps and Active Security of the Navy, Hong Kao, issued a statement disavowing him, noting he is no longer representative of the Marines and their values. Video went viral, prompting backlash from veterans, calls for investigations by the Secret Service and FBI, and widespread condemnation. He represents himself as a Marine, prosecutor, and advocate for long-term bipartisanship. His campaign site emphasizes for God and country, fixing political system.
Latverian Savage has just tipped $5. I don't know if life was better before the internet, but the porn definitely was better and less crybaby bitches dilating in public and tell that Marine that I voted for racism for generations to come, fucking monkeys.
Why, thank you for that $5. Appreciate it. I will find him and tag that for that timestamp just for him. He has signed the U.S. term limit pledge. The race include incumbent Rep. John Rutherford. Another Republican challenges Upham as a long, short write-in. Let's see. William H. Upham, 18th governor of Wisconsin, Civil War veteran, and oh, no, that's the wrong guy. Wrong one. Sorry, take that back. So he was discharged medically. He served as a first lieutenant, was medically retired. His campaign website confirms that Williams served in the U.S. Marine Corps and was medically retired as a first lieutenant. He later worked as a prosecutor in Pensacola and Jacksonville, Florida. The Marine Corps publicly referred the discharge date in July 2026 statement condemning the conservative and controversial video. This is William Upham running in the write-in, blah, blah, blah. There has not been a specific reason for his medical discharge. Maybe because he's crazy. So I would say if you're running for anything, you kind of need to choose a side, and then going in there and whipping your wiener out and pissing on everybody with your penis on everybody there, probably a bad look, I would say. I would also say it's a bad look to be dressed up in your old fatigues, sitting on a camera like a crazy person, and then demanding what needs to happen while in your fatigues. Now, as far as I know, Marksman doesn't go around in his old Marine fatigues and yell crazy things on the internet on the phone. He's the only closest Marine I know right now who would probably say that this guy is a jackass, but there is other things he does talk about, like I don't disagree with. Do I? Penis wrinkle. I do not disbelieve that he should be, there's certain things he says I don't disagree with, right? All in all, I think he's crazy, but term limits are a great idea. Do I think our country is very much politicized in both directions and fighting with each other? Absolutely. Do I think that there's corruption in Washington? Absolutely. Do I think President Trump is the Antichrist? No, I think President Trump is just a man. He's just a guy, just doing his thing. Living his life. He lived his life. He became president. He knew what screws to turn to get ahead and become somebody. Great. How did you get the vid out of the mental hospital? Well, you see, he boofed the phone, Lou, and then he had to clean the shit off of the lens and then videotaped himself. Then he broadcasted it out to the internet. Vote for me. There are certain libertarian things which, again, smaller government will be better. Stuff like that. Government not getting involved in certain things like the Warner Bros. And Paramount deal, which is two private businesses that should be able to do what they want. But calling out somebody out there and then trying to say you want to kill the president of the United States and say, vote for me, seems kind of dumb. Now, I could say you could go out there and be like, look, I'm so-and-so, I'm running for this position in the government, and these are things I don't like. These are people I don't like, whatever they are. And I don't think you should ever personally attack somebody in government while you're running to be in the government, right? I think you should leave personal feelings out of it and attack the issue. So that issue, for example, let's say term limits. Why do we need term limits? When we have politicians that are dying in office of old age, I do not think that their brains were working on full steam prior years to them being there, right? Now, mind you, when the country was first developed, I don't think they ever thought people were going to live into be 100 and still be there. I think that was an idea was so far-fetched it was outrageous. But here we are. So do I believe we should have term limits in there? Sure. Do I believe we should do I believe that people inside the government are fighting each other? Absolutely. But again, Trump's not the Antichrist. Trump is just a human being. He's just a guy. Like, he's not on either side. He's not an angel or a demon. He's just a dude. Like,
Corps. I swore an oath when I commissioned. I, William Upham, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, so help me God. I joined the United States Marine Corps to defend our country against all enemies, including the enemies here at home. This principle of defending others, especially the innocent and the vulnerable, is seen in the Bible in many passages. In Esther chapter 8, verse 11, the Prime Minister of Persia authorized the right for Jews to defend themselves and women and children from armed attackers. In Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 13, builders armed themselves and were stationed for self-defense purposes, with Nehemiah stating, "Fight for your brothers, your sons, and your daughters." This biblical principle can be summarized in the following. God values life, and although self-defense is not explicitly endorsed, it is implied through these passages, and it should be used to protect the innocent and the vulnerable. Violence should never be used for evil purposes, such as vengeance or plunder. This is a message to all of God's children in our country. We must defend ourselves against all enemies. We are at war with evil.
so in the same breath, you just said no, not to have violence and not to use the Bible for violence. Now you're using the Bible for violence. I mean, I guess you could use it for violence if you wrap it around like the pistol barrel and use it as a suppressor, but I don't think that's a good idea.
This is a war between God and the Antichrist. There is no doubt in my mind that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is the Antichrist. He is a false Messiah, and he is your enemy, and he must be.
The dude's going to be out of office in like 2 more years. Who cares? Like, all this time, everybody comes out and they start claiming, yelling, and screaming about this guy's the Antichrist. Ted Cruz is the, Zodiac killer. Blah, blah, blah. Biden's the Antichrist. I would say if there was an Antichrist, none of you would know he was the Antichrist. That would be the whole point. People would fawn over that person and love them regardless. You know who is the closest person to the Antichrist? You'll be surprised when I say it, because there is one person that fits everything who the Antichrist would be. What's going on, Kaltenberg? No, they're not even a politician. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift would literally fill every check mark of the Antichrist. No, Lou. That's not, no, it would not be me. So if you really want to know who the Antichrist is, it's Taylor Swift.
Killed. Why do I believe this? President Trump posted an AI-generated image of him in the likeness of Jesus Christ. He has also criticized the Pope. He is nothing like Jesus Christ. In Thessalonians chapter 2.
The Pope is a man. He's a human man. You can criticize him. It's okay to criticize the Pope. If you don't criticize the Pope, you literally have the church running over everything. And that's why Martin Luther went and nailed, thing to the door of the chapel, telling people, hey, you shouldn't, God does not want you to follow people blindly.
Verses 3 through 12, Apostle Paul describes the man of lawlessness, otherwise known as the Antichrist, as someone who opposes God, worships himself, and claims to be God. In Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 through 8, John describes the Antichrist as a ruler backed by Satan who demands to be worshipped, blasphemes God, and wages war on our saints.
Are you saying Iran is the saint? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying Iran has saints in it? Am I wrong? Am I miscalculating what this nutball is saying?
All of these Antichrist descriptions describe President Trump. If you disagree with me, you must ask yourself, is your perspective clouded by mega ideology? Are you
Let me think about that. Is my stuff clouded by MAGA ideology? No, it's not. I just released all of my judgment out. What's this man's IQ? A donut. That is it. Not even a number. It's just a piece of baked goods. Yeah, he said manga Republicans. Those damn Republicans who really like anime, otaku sons of bitches that they are.
worshiping a false idol? Is President Trump anything like Jesus Christ?
No, and he doesn't claim to be. In fact, when people ask him if he's a good man, he said no.
The book of Revelation is occurring right now.
Is it?
America is Babylon.
Hold on, I gotta go check the Broadway shows. I didn't know that one was currently playing. I mean, I'm not in New York, but be nice to know, I guess.
God and his angels have condemned our country because we are drowning in sin. Who are we now? We are selfish, worshiping ourselves and false idols, not showing love or kindness to our fellow American, and treating life without love and dignity. Instead of remembering our founding fathers' intention of a nation under God, we have lost sight of God and treated him like he was an accessory. We've become too proud to be an American and not proud enough to be God's child. I ask this question to all of you.
He's going to blow up a government building. I see it now.
Is it too late for us to turn from our sins? Is it too late for America? My answer is no. It's not too late. The Lamb will be sacrificed to pay for all of our sins, and our country will be saved from the Babylon that we have become. President Trump is the Antichrist, and he will be killed and sent to hell. God will prevail against evil.
Now, I watched a very interesting movie that talked about religion. Taught me a lot. It's called Dogma. And apparently Alanis Morissette is God. I had no idea. And angels have no penises. Anyways, I would say that movie makes as much sense about religion as that guy babbling does. So, I don't think he's going to win anything except for maybe an investigation by the FBI. And that's about it. He's definitely a future Oswald. Timothy McVeigh, one of them. Yeah, I don't have much hope for him in any sort of way. I'm going to say very honestly that I see him getting arrested before ever being in Congress. So, do we want to move into something terrible? Do we want to do some true crime? You guys into some true crime stuff right now? I go get banned for it, but it's going to be very, very, very gross. And I'm probably going to get one of my channels banned for it, I'm guessing. So donate now, before we disappear. Just in case. So for anyone that hasn't been following along recently, please open to book chapter 3 of your Wolf literature and turn to the page on true crime, where we've been talking about the Ohio family had 16 children ages year and a half to 18 that were trapped for years in a 3.5-foot room. The room has changed different sizes. Some people say it's a 3.5 square feet, which is a closet, which would not be big enough. Oh, square meters. Oh, I'm sorry. These people are British and slightly touched in the head. It was a 12 by 12 room is what they were stuck in. It's okay, Kaltenberg. Just go next to Polybius. She has the book. From her picture, she's got enough thigh for you. Just take a seat. So for anyone who doesn't know, there was a family in Ohio that I'm pretty sure is going to say they had incest going on. That's why they didn't go out, right? So late June / early July 2026, authorities in Hamden-Vinton County, Ohio, rescued 16 children, siblings a year and a half to 18 years, from a dilapidated rural home and what officials described as one of the worst cases of child neglects and endangerment in the state's history. I don't know where the old guy's looking at. I don't know if he's looking at me or if he's looking at the clock on the wall. Deputies went to the home of the unrelated investigation and found the children confined mostly in a single room, around 12 by 12 feet, so 120 square feet, for years, living in extreme squalor with human waste, bugs, and filth. Children appeared malnourished, some with infections and medical issues. Several were described as almost feral with limited speech or social skills. 2 were airlifted to trauma centers, others hospitalized. Adults charged in the matter, all set with a $300,000 bail, which I don't know if any of them made it, and I think $300,000 for the worst child neglect case is very low. I feel that should be a lot higher, closer to maybe $1 million or $2 million. Elizabeth Siders, 33, mother of all 16 children, allegedly. Gary Siders' father, Gary Siders Sr., grandfather, and Christina Siders, 67, grandmother. They face multiple counts of felony child endangerment charges. Children are now in state custody. Vinton County, one of Ohio's smaller and poorest, has requested emergency funding and support for foster care and medical psychological needs. I believe you should take those children out of that county and go to a county which could better suit them, instead of asking for money, you pricks. The case has shocked a small community with questions about how it went unnoticed for so long. Because people in small communities mind their own goddamn business usually and don't go peeking and looking through other people's homes. From what I understand too, this house is a little bit more rural, kind of hard to see, so nobody knows. The world's a big place. It's hard to see that. Especially if they're being hidden there the entire time, right? And if you just don't know, you don't know. Because again, I think they were so rural of an area, there was nobody really around to see. So there's no one actually to go there and be like, hey, what the hell are you doing, nutball, right? Like, what are you doing with those kids? Now, what I think happened is, I think, and this is speculation, I think Elizabeth Siders and Gary Siders are siblings. And I think there is some weird, Game of Thrones eat shit going on there with the kids. And because of that, I think they didn't want anybody to know. And so instead of having these 16 kids, which again, I guess there's no such thing as birth control in their family, I have a feeling we're going to find some more kids in the backyard or some other way of being disposed. I think they would just pop them out. I bet we're going to find out there was some weird religious thing about it, right? And I think it's going to go from there. But I am going to start watching this trial when it starts, personally, because I'm thinking it's goddamn freaky and horrible. And how could this have happened, right?
Latverian Savage has just tipped $5. Last one for tonight. Shout out to my brother who is now a born-again virgin because he broke both his hands in a car accident. Much love, bro. Not surprised this happened in Ohio. If you know, you know.
Isn't Tio from Ohio? How did he break both of his hands? Just tell me in chat. That sucks. I would say as a good friend, you need to go buy him a fleshlight and duct tape it to the door so he can, have a little time for himself. Thanks for the tip. Just the tip. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for Latverian Savage for that. We are, there is actually $4 more I need to add. So we're actually closer to 30. If we can get 25 more and hit 50, that'd be awesome tonight. Thank you, folks. I think you'll like it. I'm doing, car accident. I think you said that in there, but like, was he driving or like went to go stop himself and just compacted his hands and shattered them? Let's see. The investigation is ongoing, including the Ohio Attorney General and Bureau of Investigation. Trying to find some updates to it too. Oh, well, there you go. He could, as long as he could still use his nose on Tinder, I think he'll be okay. So Vinton County received $1 million emergency funding for the kids. Gary Siders Sr., that's the guy with the eye that's looking over at the clock, hospitalized after a fall, released on his own reconnaissance bond with a GPS monitor due to a serious medical condition. He will undergo a competency evaluation before the trial. Elizabeth, 33, filed to modify her $300,000 bond to be with her children still in custody. Why would you allow that woman anywhere near those children? Like, what would the state, like, who in there, what bleeding heart tard would allow that woman with any of those children? I'm guessing they moved a bunch. I think they said they were somewhat newer to the area. I believe reading that or hearing about that. Gary Siders Jr., our 36-year-old father, a guy's younger than me, which is disturbing, and Christina Siders, 67-year-old grandmother, remain in jail. All four have pleaded not guilty to multiple felony child endangerment charges. Primarily hearings waived, case headed to grand jury. Family lived in a rundown home in Hayden, Vinton County, Ohio. Children were contained to a small room. Again, we already knew about that. 4 years in horrific condition. So they knew they were there for at least 4 years. We don't know what's happening prior. Gonna have 16 kids. 16 kids between the ages of a year and a half to 18. So they're popping out a kid, every year or less. And then, all the children are very close in age. Let's say that before they even move, they're 16, they still have 12 kids. So there's body cam footage. More details have emerged showing the condition, with officials calling it a third world and pure evil. Case remains active and ongoing. So that's what we're going to watch here is what's inside this home. What is inside this gnarly ass home is what we're about to watch. Again, before we do this, if my mods want to drop the Buy Me a Coffee, the PayPal, the Cash App, the Venmo, if you can all just take that, click on it. Don't even pay me anything right now. If you can't, just bookmark it for later in case I disappear and you need to find me later on. So I'll give us a minute to do that. And this song is dedicated to Latverian Savage. While I wait for that, for all those links to be dropped. Which is funny because he asked me to put that on and I have a permanent button.
Yeah, I seen this shit. Oh, that's so bad. Yeah. That is so bad. Human shit on this fat. Oh my god. From what the kids are saying, if you can see, there's cockroaches running all over. I didn't even go to this.
At Lovely1423 donated 20 pounds through Super Chat. Grandad looks like he had too many ciders.
It's those damn White Claws. Thank you very much for the 20 GDP. Brings up to $24 for the Super Chats. I'll add it in a bit.
Here.
Thank you, good sir.
The floor, you can see it's moving around. All right. There's the toilet. Do minute videos. Or we can cut it. There's the freezer.
Now, mind you, some of the stuff that they're showing here is not where the kids were locked in. This is just the house. Now, I don't know why the fridges are open and there's milk there without the lid on it. That is some primitive shit if I've ever seen it. And why there's a vegetable crisper and one of those cucumbers in there is covered in feces. But keeping the house clean is a job. It is part of your everyday job. And if you have 16 kids and that is 20 people living in that house and you can't keep it clean, you literally have a small army. That's another worry, right? They were making yogurt. Sorry, that's a gallon of horse semen. This was Tim Waltz's house. My mistake.
It's like there was some kind of milk in there. Some kind of bedroom.
So I don't know if you could see when he went into the bedroom. Those are cockroaches all over that pillow. Now, there's a difference between this house and then people who go and hoard, right? And the problem with the people that hoard is you get grandma in there who's got mental issues, who hoards all the time, and things just kind of get out of hand. Deep down inside, grandma doesn't want to be a hoarder. This is a whole different ball of wax, I believe.
There's still a fan on and a heater. Looks like some kind of bedroom. Cockroaches everywhere.
So these are the detectives, I'm guessing.
This looks like this is the living room. Dining room and living room. Hey, sounds like a whore. No, it's not.
If that was me and I was that cop, I would go in there with the full Kovex, whatever it is, Kovex, Convolex, condom suit, whatever, Duramax suit, head to toe. And then I would have a decontamination station set up by the fire department outside where they just douse me in bleach.
This is the bedroom out front. It's so bad. All right, we're out. The water works. Deep freezer. The water works. Here, I'll show you.
So that is the people investigating how disgusting that house was. Because people are already online saying that what they did is they took kids away from this loving family. Yes. Yes. There are people out there who are already taking their side, saying that it was their kids. They should have the option to do what they want. Those kids don't have a say. Those kids are being abused, and that's it. So we're going to see what happens with the trial. Again, we have the father, the oldest one, the father. He is, I'll put this back up for a visual aid. The father up there is currently has an ankle monitor. Is in the hospital after he fell. The grandmother is currently still in prison, jail. The daughter is trying to get a modified sentence so she could spend time with her kids. I have a feeling the mom, right? The mom, the younger woman, Elizabeth, is probably going to roll over on the other three. And here is my guess of what's going to happen. And as we all know, I am very strangely good at predicting human behavior, probably because I'm a psychopath and I don't have real emotions. And I have to learn just by watching all of you. Is that what's going to happen is she's going to claim there was incest and rape happening and that she was in fear for her life. I think it just freaked you all out. Acting. I think she's going to roll over on him and be like, there was a lot of abuse. I wasn't allowed to get an abortion. We weren't allowed to have medication. Right? It's okay. Most of us are armed. It was a joke. Come on. It was a joke. We all know I have emotions. You guys hear me laughing and stuff. Stop LARPing. Stop LARPing like a regular person. Lost my goddamn train of thought. So do I what? Have regular emotions like a person? Yes, I'm not a robot. I think she's gonna roll over and say there was abuse, there was rape happening. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. They were abusing me. I was just as bad as the kids, etc., etc., etc. He was beating me. The father was raping me. The mother raped me, blah, blah, blah. That's what I think is going to happen, is I think it's going to be a thing of her rolling over on the rest of the family to get the hell out of there. Now, I don't know. Well, I do know. I was going to say, I don't know who the real kid is, but of course we know it's Gary. Gary's their son. The other woman was brought into all this. The grandmother's in jail for the same stuff because all four of them, they found the kids living with all four of these people. So all four of them are going to be in there allegedly just starting out for child endangerment. That's the first thing. So child endangerment, abuse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think, again, it's going to become a lot bigger than what we're seeing right now, I believe. But I think she's going to roll over on the other family. I think Gary Sr. is going to come out having dementia. I think Christina Siders is going to be becoming, the mom from, the hell was that movie? The Hills Have Eyes. She was just like, oh no, I love babies. They're great. It's like, well, I don't think, I don't think that's great. Oh, we thought the kids were okay. They chose to live like that. That could be the other thing, right?
SC has just tipped $24.
They're going to say the kids chose to live like that. It wasn't our decision. There's so many of them. We didn't know what to do. And the reason why I think this is because there's other cases that have come up, not nearly as bad as 16 children, right? but still just as bad. And the things they usually say are, it was the other parent that didn't allow me. I was being abused. If it goes to a grandparent, or the grandparents were abusing me, they were controlling me. I wasn't allowed to leave the house. Right? Yeah, we had that one in California with 9 kids. That was the one that was in the desert, right? Where they were being kept in a, what the hell was it? It was like they had a bunch of trailers on the property and the kids were being kept in like this open air garage, and like the dogs had a better area than the kids did. Was it that one? And this is the other disgusting part. There has been so many of these cases because as much as we all want to keep her model can't blink. As much as we like to keep our kids safe, sometimes some of the worst, I know I got to stop saying when I'm thinking. Some of the worst things that happen to kids are from people that are right with the family or close to the family, or the parents themselves or grandparents. That's statistically going to happen more than little Billy being pulled up off the street outside, right? Statistically, there's a much higher chance that the kid's going to be abused by its own parents or relatives or somebody close to the family, which is just very sad to hear and disgusting. But that's how the statistics roll out. So the point where I can't remember which horrible story this was also makes me sad, because that means it's happened so much and I've watched so many videos on it. It's hard to keep them straight, right? Because there's so many of them. Well, there's nothing wrong with relatives living with each other. The problem is when you have relatives living with each other and the kids are shitting on the floor and the rape and abuse happening. That is the issue here. Turpin kids, 13 of them. What happened with that one? And again, maybe they start having so many kids and just, I don't know, don't realize they're not Amish. I have no idea. Young dude Gary is going to be a speed bump for the bus, as the rest of the family claims he was abusing everyone else. So if Gary is 36 and their oldest kid is 18, right? Let's do some math. We don't know how old Elizabeth is either, but Elizabeth looks slightly younger than Gary, right? So would it be surprising if we find out, for example, that Elizabeth was like 16 when she first had a kid and she was a runaway that no one knew about? I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because if their other kid's 18, that means Gary had a child at 18. And again, Elizabeth, I believe, is younger. So, because 18 times 2 is 36, but we have 2 people already early age having kids, started living with the grandparents. Part of me believes that's his sister. Like, I don't know why, but I wouldn't be surprised if, again, there's some incest going on and a lot of abuse. She was 16, Mayhem? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Or was there a news already coming out that she popped the first one at 16? So now we're going to find out. What I'm guessing is that she was probably a runaway. She got with this family. The family was probably very abusive. Well, that's what we think her name was too, right? Again, I'm waiting to see what comes out. Not saying this is true. I'm just, throwing some vibes out there. Oh, Nikki's saying she got pregnant at 13. Other people said they might be related too. Parents signed off on them getting married at 13. Well, was she 16 or 13? Either way, it's gross. Yeah, he resembles one of the white takers. But why did her parents go reluctantly along with it? 16. Bam's saying 16, Nikki's saying 13. So between 13 and 16, whatever the reason is, still gross. 16, I could see the parents being more likely to sell off their child to these meth addicts for some crank. Yeah, are her parents related to the family? That's another good question. So Nikki's saying she was a runaway. If only there's... Oh man, I'm here listening and all of a sudden I'm hearing CENTCOM just coming off with missiles. Really quickly, U.S. Central Command ended its evening wave of strikes against Iran at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On July 15th, U.S. forces struck Iranian command centers, air defense sites, missiles, and drone capabilities, coastal surveillance facilities, further degrades Iran's ability to threaten innocent mariners, crewing commercial vessels, transitioning the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM used precision munitions to hit targets in multiple locations, including Bandar Abbas. Earlier this morning, American forces struck coastal defense and cruise missile sites on Greater Tumbin Island during the 90-minute wave. An hour and a half of straight bombing. Damn. The U.S. military is holding an Iran cannibal as commander-in-chief's direction. Okay. That's a little update for there. Back to the robot. Let's go see... Let's go see... Not that I don't believe all of you. I just want to make sure I'm correct. Yeah. Take care, Polly. Have a good night. Oh, so here you go. She was 15. In March 2008, at age 15, she legally married Gary Siders, then 18, in Mason County, West Virginia. They lived in Gallipolis, Ohio, and crossed the border for their marriage. Her parents, Gary, consented to the marriage. The certificate was signed by all four parents. She had an 8th grade education at the time. First child was born about 2 months after the wedding. She is now 33 and the mother of all 16 children, allegedly. The attorney has suggested that she could potentially be viewed as a victim of the circumstances, given her young age of marriage and the family of dynamics. But there are no public reports of indications that she's a runaway from home fully. The marriage appears to have been arranged with the family's approval. The details have come in. The coverage is possible trying to understand the family's long-term isolation and cycle of pregnancies. I said enough, West Virginia. So here you go. So 15-year-old. Parents signed off. She was already pregnant. So there you go. What's wrong with me? I start deep diving into this. They would do that shit when you were a kid? Arranged marriages? Oh, I see what you're saying. There's been no affiliation with any churches or religious practices so far with the family. The family was extremely isolated, so no one knows. They bought basic items, water, vegetable oil, at the local Dollar General, but neighbors and officials described the situation as hidden and unnoticed for rather than tied to any religion or ideological beliefs. Described as an intra-family situation involving neglect and endangerment, with no links to cults, extreme religious sects, or similar. Some early social media speculation tried to connect it to various theories. I mean, I'm not talking about Iran right now. I'm literally talking about some abused kids, but good to know. Officials have strongly suggested incest or other intra-family sexual abuse likely involved. Vinton County prosecutors and Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson have repeatedly described the case as an intra-family situation, not human trafficking or outside traffic. Their phrasing indicates widely anticipated by media and legal experts as indicating incest or general sexual abuse within the family. It's not 100% confirmed who the biological parents of all 16 children actually are. DNA is expecting to take part in the investigation. Well, I'm pretty sure the old woman wasn't popping out kids. So it's all going to be about the child. Now, what if, put on your crazy caps here, what if Gary Jr. was not the father of the first kid, but Gary Sr. was? And Gary Sr. would go to prison. So instead, they have a marriage with Gary Jr. The parents pin it on Gary Jr., right? They marry off Gary Jr. to this woman. Then more crap tends to come out. So again, they are saying there's probably incest, not only between this four horrible people, but with the children also. So again, very, very possible. I mean, something the hell's wrong with them, yeah. But again, everything is currently under investigation. Let's see when the first trial is going to be. I have no idea if they said what gender or ages all the children are yet. I know one of them they said is feral and like can't write her name or speak. And I think it might be the 18-year-old. And again, I believe Elizabeth is claiming to be the mother of all these kids. I don't think that's going to be true. Yeah, year and a half to 18 years, but there's 16 kids. I don't know what the genders or ages are. Right. Well, yeah. So Junior was probably also sexually molested is my guess. And now I wouldn't be surprised if Senior sexually molested Junior. Junior acts out thinking it's normal. One of the two goes after Elizabeth, gets pregnant. Parents signing off because he eat meth dealer, whatever the hell's going on. Right? And now we have this weird situation where they can't really take the kids to the hospital because they believe taking the hospital, someone's going to be like, hey, we did this DNA test and shit doesn't line up here properly. So DNA is easy to prove to an extent and get very close. The problem with incest families is because of how the DNA markers are laid out. Sometimes they're not fully washed out who did what, right? And then you have to start looking for like where the genetic drift comes from, and you know, it might take longer. And I don't know if they're going to be doing that. Hopefully. But for Elizabeth is saying she wants to get out of there, have a modified sentence to go be with the kids, I think is just stupid. Should not be allowed. So I think what's going to end up happening is that a lot of these, someone in there's going to get like 100 years right in prison. I think both Garys are going to be thrown underneath the bus, especially Gary Jr. I think the mom's going to be like, well, I never knew it was going on, right? I have no idea, blah, 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 blah. Case of incest, it would not be unheard of for children to be feral. I worked for DMHMR, and we had a guy who was a child of incest. He felt like in a chicken house before state stepped in. Jesus Christ. Because I believe they don't want them to go to the doctors or facilities or anything because they believe that their secret's going to be out, right? So, and it should be out. I mean, they're disgusting, horrible people. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So dehydrated water, that is also of speculation. Right. But these people, Blade, are stupid. I don't think they're going to go to prison. Like, I think some of them are going to die very soon before the trial's up. Like, Gary is already, I think, on, one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel. Elizabeth, I'm expecting to see that she's going to off herself. And the only one that might be around is Gary. And Elizabeth, I bet you, is going to be taking the plea of she's a victim. Again, that's my guess. I think Springer would start drinking heavily if he saw this and not want to be involved in any way. So that's currently what's going on with this horrible family of disturbed people who should not exist in society. So I don't know what else to add to that. It's already pretty disgusting and terrible. Yes, Elizabeth was 15. I went and looked it up because some people said 13, some people said 16. She was 15. 15 when it happened. Again, wouldn't be surprised we found out the first kid's Gary Sr., right? Not Junior. And because I don't know, to me that seems a little bit more plausible, right? 18-year-old and 15-year-old get pregnant. Okay, that's not unheard of, but like the way it happened, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of outside pressure. Yeah, Radagaskar, exactly. So I think, Blade, that would have been the more definitive way that they would find out what's going on with the kids, is that they look at the kids and they start seeing abuse marks. Now, I'm not saying sexual abuse marks. I'm seeing like malnutrition, cockroach bites, infected sores, conjunctivitis in their eyes, stuff like that. I think if any of those kids went there, and then also when the kid comes up there and is like, like the Tasmanian devil, I would say that the parents would then look over and be like, oh yeah, that's just the way he is. And then the doctors look over and be like, no. Why is it when we ask their kid their name, they just spit on the floor? Like, it would escalate, right? And it would go from there. So, but the first signs for the medical staff would be, again, the easy things, right? The easy things to see: conjunctivitis, coughing, bites, bruises, scratches. And then that would lead to the scars, maybe broken bone signs, stuff like that. On and on and on. But, you can't go over and ask the kid, are you being abused because the kid doesn't talk? So now you're talking to a child that can't really communicate very well either, and maybe even scared to communicate, and told, if they do, hey, we're going to beat the shit out of you. So that's another thing to take into account for all of this. Anyways, I'm moving on. This is depressing me, but that's new footage released on that, is that now we're having walk-arounds of the house and people see how horrible it was for those kids to live in there. No, as far as they know, none of them might not have ever been in a hospital. So anyways, let's move on. I'm going to get depressed. Right. I think there's a lot of layers happening with this too. Donate now just in case I get banned for reporting on that.
Fox News alert, Trump's giving Iran the big squeeze. For the first time in the war, we're launching airstrikes while the blockade's in full effect. Plus, sanctions are slapped back. Last night, 47 gave the gay Ayatollah 7 straight hours of bitch slaps. U.S. precision missiles fired from fighter jets, drones, and...
You just call the Ayatollah a gay man?
...warships hit dozens of Iranian launch sites, mosquito fleets, and defense systems near the Strait. And this morning, Iran woke up to more bombs, over an hour of pounding, hitting cruise missile storage and missile sites near an island base. We're not stopping. Our forces are bombing Iran for the second time today. While the blockade stops anyone without a permission slip, a Curacao-flagged tanker headed for Carg Island. That's the first ship disabled since we started back up. We shot a Hellfire missile straight through her smokestack. We're also striking deep inside Iran. We hit a railway bridge that's crucial for Iran's trade with Russia and China. So now the land blockade's up, right alongside the wall of steel. This was a warning, kind of a bridge before bridge and power plant day.
So we already started striking a bunch of different places in Iran currently. We took out some water pump stations. We took out drone facilities, more missile facilities, more radar facilities, and we're just working our way back. It was an hour and a half long strike tonight that we just got done doing 15, 20 minutes ago, and working our way through the regime, starting from the coastline, working our way back. So what we're doing is we're just taking a little bit of space each time. And as we go a little bit more each time, it makes sure we're safer for whatever we're planning on doing, right? Now, one of those things that we're trying to make sure is if we need to land troops on the ground. Not saying we're going to, not saying we have. If we do, we want to make sure that the landing zones are soft enough to get in there. We don't want another incident like in Black Hawk Down, where we went in there thinking, oh, it's going to be fine. And next thing we know, someone RPG's a helicopter, right? So we want to make sure the beach is clear. We can get people in there and make sure it's the proper place, not like Normandy, where we were not in the right place. And make sure troops are safe coming in. So we already started hitting bridges. We've already started hitting substations around the power plants because news is a little bit shaky about what's really going on right now. I don't think we're going to announce another day of taking out power plants and bridges. We should just do it, right? And everything we do should just be done. No more playing around. Just get it done, be done, move on.
Now the mullahs are picking up the phone.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here. They want to meet. They always want to meet. But, this should have been done by other presidents for many years, for 47 years, but really a lot longer than that, and it wasn't. And
I want them to fund me Overwatch. I feel like I could be more entertaining than any of those people.
Understood why, but now I do. Because if you're not going to do it the way I'm doing it, you're never going to make a deal with them.
They're scraping for leverage. Terror is the only card they have left. So they're flinging drones at their Gulf neighbors. And now the mullahs are after our boys. Iranian politicians want the IRGC to invade one of our bases and kidnap 100 soldiers.
Please try. Please try that. I really want to see how that works out for him. Like if they try to get on a boat and invade one of our bases, you volunteer for RT. I don't think I really want RT to sponsor me if that's who's doing it. I would not really want to be. So my sponsors, this is off the subject, TrapperOutdoors.com and Westside Power Sports and Sea-Doos and Flavor Forest and Myers Media does one of my websites and Tennessee Custom Blades and everybody else. The nice thing about having my sponsors is that I don't need to change who I am as a person or say things that control me, right? I feel though if I was working with another bigger company, right? Like, let's say Gamer Subs, right? Let's say Gamer Subs. Though honestly, Gamer Subs might sponsor me. They sponsor a lot of people and a lot of different things. They sponsor, I think, Kersha, and she's got the same political opinions, if not worse than mine. So, So I don't know, but let's say it was somebody like a bigger company that came out there. The minute that I would start bucking against them, even though I have proof of stuff, they would be like, well, we're going to take your money away. And so then I would have to give up who I am as a person and what I believe to keep them happy. And I don't know if you've all noticed that even though I need money, money is only secondary to me about the truth and what I believe is the truth. Like, the truth is number one. The truth is the most important part to me. Everything else is secondary. If I wanted to be a yes man for somebody and sit here with a thumb up my ass the entire time, I would do it. But I don't want that. Like, so I choose not only who my sponsors are, but making sure, you know, I'm saying what I want. So I think people like, again, who are getting pushed money by RT or Qatar, for example, like, you know, Chunky Yogurt, they're just puppets, right? They're just puppets, and they will move to whoever is going to give them the most money to make them say what they want. I think Nick Fuentes is probably one of them. What the hell is that one guy's name? Andrew Tate. He's another one. There's a whole list of them. People go, oh, well, you don't like him because they're so much bigger than you, and blah, 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 blah. Again, I know one of the reasons my numbers stay low is because I piss off people here. So I'm more than happy, to be honest. Well, welcome, Bobby. Welcome, buddy. But I'd rather be honest and say, like, hey, here's what's really going on.
Hold them hostage in Tehran. Good luck with that.
We had 111 missiles shot a few weeks ago by our lovely friends from Iran. They were aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. Out of the 111 missiles shot, 111 missiles were knocked into the sea. And I called the captain of the ship. He wasn't even sweating. 111 missiles are coming at you. And he's drinking his coffee, taking it easy.
The mullahs can lob as many ballistics as they want. We'll shoot them down. There's nothing they can do to us. That's why we own the Strait.
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out. But it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
Nothing leaves unless we say so. And their neighbors are building pipelines around Hormuz. They'll have oil flowing without Iran getting their slimy hands on it.
Problem with doing that is that those become now still targets.
And with the land and sea blockade, they can't get their oil out. So what are they going to sell instead? Pistachios? Now, the commander-in-chief was in the Situation Room. He's being presented with more options.
That's probably what's going to happen in that country.
Carg Island's in play. So's Pickaxe Mountain.
So, again, they're thinking we're going to invade certain things like that island and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't honestly know if that's going to happen. What we need to do is just keep taking our infrastructure until they start begging. Be like, hey, you know, we really want to be able to flush our toilet tonight. Could you not blow that up? And, you know, they go have to say yes or no. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? You want to blow up a toilet? Sure. Let's make it happen. Okay, what else is going on today? They're probably going to sex traffic their own butthole is going to be my guess. I feel like the goats will only go so far with the foreign dignitaries coming over. Everybody else, on the other hand, you know, whatever. Whatever's clever for them. Let's see. I'm looking for another car chase right now, too. Sorry about the dead air, folks. Fortunately, it's not the fastest day on the news. Star Citizen again in the news today about offering another ship, even though the game's not working. Water's wet, same thing. You want to hit water and power quickly. If you can knock out their water and power and let people kind of just chill there for a while, that would probably be the best idea. Everything else is going to be secondary. Like, take out water, take out power, let them kind of just chill. There'll be more outcry from PETA about the goats. Yes. And who knows? Maybe what the hell's her name can go over there instead. She's no longer going to be going to Gaza. She's going to go to Iran to protest the goats. Again, there's a lot of this stuff coming out too. You got to be careful about what we're reading. Oh yeah, Greta. Apparently Greta's 20-year-old sister is doing porn and trying to pull Greta into it. Like, I saw that while scrolling and I was like, well, that's disgusting on many, many ways. So breaking, Iranian media is trying to claim that an advanced hypersonic missile from Israel crashed within Iranian territory without detonating. Iran states that it will reverse engineer the missile to acquire advanced technologies. If Israel shot an advanced weapon into a house and didn't detonate, I'm pretty sure they would fire another missile and blow it up. Their hospitals might have backup generators. That's not impossible. The problem with Iran is that Iran's a very big toss-up country. 50% of it is modern, right? The other 50% is poverty-stricken. So if you take out, let's say, water and power, and everybody doesn't have water and power besides the rich and or crucial infrastructure, those people are going to get very angry very quickly. And I think that could have a different effect, right? Plus, minus, who knows? Again, the other thing I have to do is, as I'm scrolling through here, is ignore the amount of horse crap that is coming out, because Iran is like, oh, we destroyed another American base. We've sunk all these American ships. Oh my God, we're winning. And there's people out there who believe that. And apparently, apparently our soldiers are weebs. As you can tell by the, I don't even know who that character is, but I don't know who that anime character is. But apparently they have a weeb there who's driving the truck and firing the missiles. What's going on, Bio? How you doing? I'm going to ask Grok if they know who this character is. Who is the anime character in this video? Let's see what happens. I want to see if it has some weird belief. The character specifically made. What is a weeb? It's somebody who's really into anime and Japanese culture. It stands for weeaboo. I'm asking the robot right now because I am curious. Come on, Grok. Tell me who it is. I feel like if I type in dopey looking blue haired anime girl. I still wouldn't know it. So that it's getting close. Smug anime plushie. It's still thinking. It's coming up with a result. Anime plushie steal spotlight in Himar's launch video. And again, those aren't Himar's. I think those are the other ones. Longer range ones. So apparently I'm not the first one. Fumo, I think is what they're saying it is. It's still thinking. The anime character in the video, a chibi-style anime plushie, commonly called a Fumo plushie in a meme circle. It's a popular, yeah, I know what it is, but who's the character? Oh, it's a Toho project. So it's from Toho. That is funny. I will have to send this to somebody I know who's into that. So there you go. That's what it is. This is an American. This is an American truck. This is the American truck where you're using the fire stuff from the base at the Iranians. So some American weeb was doing it. No, I'm going to screen cap it in a second just so I could send it to one of the many weebs I know so you could figure out who it is. Anyways, sorry, a little off the subject here. There you go.
It's a Weru6747 donated $5 through Super Chat. Shion Urigami is the anime character.
How the hell did you figure that one out? Shion Urigami. Let's see. Is a poverty god. God of poverty. Goddess. Oh yeah, Toho project. Yeah. The goddess of poverty. Well, that's funny. Apparently talking about weebs and military vehicles right now. So Toho is a music group and like a dance thing and a comic. I don't know. It's kind of here, I'm just gonna post it here. You can go look it up. I know somebody who's really into it. In fact, give me 1 sec. I'm sending a little message to somebody who I think is going to get a kick out of this. Okay, let me put on some. Here you go. You all speak Arabic, right? Listen to this for a second. I understood part of it. He said Trump. I got that.
Well, أولا شكرا للاستضافة وتحياتي لك ولضيفك الكريم. الرئيس ترامب يطلب من إيران العودة إلى طاولة المفاوضات.
So we have been bombing Iran on and off around the clock for I think 4 days now, and we're aiming at again different key infrastructure parts and making it I think every day just a little bit worse and a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And the reason being is we're hoping that they come to their senses, which is itself a large thing to ask. But I have no idea if that's going to happen or not. So, and again, people think most of anyone in charge is dead, right? Good night, Cannabiscuit. Take care. So that's kind of that's the thing. Again, they're going to just keep escalating just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And we'll see what happens. If they turn around and go, oh, oops. What's this all then? Maybe we should stop. But I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to try and fight until there's nobody left. Because to them, I think that's the only option that they have. I feel like there's a grass fire outside my house somewhere because I can smell it. It's quite strong. You guys know what grass fires smell like? I don't know if you live in California, you become very accustomed to them. Hopefully it's not my backyard. But oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's 10 fires close to me. Oh, okay. That's nice. That's spectacular. All right. That's what I'm smelling. Okay. That's fine. As long as it's not the yard on fire, I'm okay. Do I think we'll see another nuke drop like Japan? Could. I don't think we really want it to happen anywhere, but I mean, you could. I think the chances are of a big country doing it is smaller than like a rogue nation doing it, right? Rogue nation doing it. Thank you for being live. My boyfriend is deployed, and as crazy as it sounds, keeping up and all this stuff keeps me sane. It's because I think information helps calm people down. But I hope that your boyfriend's very safe where he's at. What is he doing? What branch? But again, the information's important to me. So, but if he's, on a ship, he should be okay. I'm probably sure he can't tell you much when he does talk to you, and probably a lot of secret squirrely stuff going on the ships. Because loose lips sink ships, right? Yeah, that guy that was selling out, what is it? Military secrets and War Thunder. They caught him like, what the hell are you doing? Out of all the stuff. I heard the fireworks in Iran for USA 2015 are lit. Yeah, it's going pretty major right now on them. So that's currently what we're seeing. Yeah, weirdly enough, out of all the places stuff could be leaked out, it's War Thunder. Play War Thunder now and learn all of America's secrets. Oh, okay. Sounds good. But again, it's destroying infrastructure that hopefully Iran will turn around and be like, hey, stop this. Well, I hope he's very safe, that he's in the Navy. Again, he's on a ship. And hopefully whatever ship he is currently on isn't getting too much heat. If he's on a destroyer or an aircraft carrier or a sub or a supply ship or I don't know. I forget what the hell else is out there. War barge. He should be okay. Like, I would say that if he's a pilot, that might be a little bit more dangerous. But yeah. The Facebook ad glitch is annoying. I don't know what that is. I'm actually like locked out of my Facebook still. I only use it to talk to a few people anyways. So I'm just going to be like, learn to text me or go on X. Like, otherwise, can't get on Facebook right now, so there ain't much I can do. So, but I think he'll be very safe, and I'm thank you for your boyfriend for serving in the Navy, and I hope he's okay and got good food, doesn't get seasick. The Marines don't beat him up every once in a while. I think he'll be good. So, but yeah, I've been trying to keep up with all the news. Currently, like I said, the biggest thing is just trying to What was that noise? The biggest thing was just trying to make sure I'm not getting bullshit news. Because according to the IRGC, all the ships are sunk and... Oh, it's somebody's rice rocket. Sounded like a lawnmower on steroids. There's a lot of misinformation coming out that's not true because the IRGC and other people are trying to wage a war on media, right? Trying to make it seem like they're doing better than what they are. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm just trying not to get on my high horse these days. I'm just trying to give what's going on. So Central Command again said they're done with their bombing. IRGC headquarters in Rabat Kadam Tehran was hit amidst the absolute chaos when the Iranian Patriot speaks with a... Now, that's the other thing with the news too. So when you're looking up stuff, there's two flags of Iran. One is the current government, one is the Crown Prince's government from the original Ayatollah, right? So when you're reading it and you hear about a patriot, here, this patriot's talking about the group that's against the current government. He said, vindicated voice full of grim confirmation. I told you he's going to hit it. You said no. Natural people and nearby are terrified by the sheer scale of destruction across the streets. Yet the strikes were completely precise, hitting only the specific compound, notorious IRGC hub. Heavily guarded and armed in Tehran, with none of us could ever have hoped to infiltrate on our own. Striking targets like this is what we mean by finishing the job. This moment alone represents a massive leap forward towards the final battle on the ground. God bless America. Long live Iran. Javid Shah. So that is somebody out there who is an Iranian who is trying to help the Prince government come back, right? No camera. I'm here. See me? There you go. There you go, stupid. Trying to help the original government come back. What is bad if some right-wing Telegram channel goes quiet after a strike? Oh. I mean, again, a lot of this is just coming through just crap. Just absolute garbage. And like one of the sites I usually use to find information is currently not letting me log in or working for some bizarre ass reason. So I'm relying on looking through information otherwise. You know, I think that's what people miss. I think people like it more when I'm doing like my regular calm voice and just chilling out. Hey, happy you're entertained, buddy. Hopefully I could be more entertaining and more stuff is happening. Otherwise, I feel like there's too much dead air. I feel like I'm on AM radio sometimes because there's only me entertaining and I'm just trying to keep up with like what's going on. So the other thing is watching what's going on because half the country is a first world nation, right? / second world nation. Yes, I believe that he is speaking tomorrow. Moment of the assassination of Mohammed Hadhik, command of the police station is Ishar, Iran. So just to give you a crazy ass idea of the stuff going on there. NPR Wolf. Yeah, except I'm not lying to people. It's crazy to think about somebody just driving up with an AK and opening fire on your window. And so this was the police chief, and he was the former head of the city's intelligence and was responsible for cracking down on anti-regime. So this guy, right? So this is the other thing we're kind of seeing now rising up, which is good. So this guy with the AK there is with the Crown Prince's government, allegedly, who drove up and opened fire and shot this other guy repeatedly. Now, why is this guy getting killed? Well, for most of the people working in the police who are reporting stuff to the rest of the government, right? These people got those 30,000 people rounded up and killed. So some of these people have family members. Some of them have, you know, people that were killed, loved ones, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of nuts to watch though, man. We have audio on this? Some GTA stuff going on right there. Yeah, we're gonna assassinate him by just shooting him. No, we're gonna drive up next to him and open fire. Yeah, so don't worry, YouTube. That was a video game. He's sleeping. Yeah. New footage shows the security forces didn't just murder anti-regime protesters with live fire, but also ran them over with their vehicles. So more of this stuff, since the internet's back up in Iran, is coming out left and right about how bad things were going on. Again, viewer discretion is advised. They were ordered to go out there and kill these people as quick as possible to get rid of any sort of regime change that could happen. Now, again, I know the biggest thing is people keep saying this is because of oil. So what's happening? People are dying, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, remember, 30,000 people do just get murdered in their country. And we're not we're not the world police, right? But America's job is not to, you know, always sit by. Because if we sit by, people ask, why don't you do anything? Right? And we kind of, again, we kind of try to hold a stronger moral compass of the world, right? And because of that, we unfortunately have to risk our troops and people going out there to do stuff. But at the same time, it's like, you know, do you sit back and let 30,000 people get murdered and just watch it happen? Especially when we could use those 30,000 people to strengthen our side. Just saying. The Islamic regime, where is this? This is January 8th when they said the Islamic regime had opened fire on anti-regime protesters in Faradis, Iran. Dozens of people reportedly have been murdered. So again, stuff like that's one of the things that is now being reposted and brought up. Canada's trying to condemn us for the attacks in Iran. I don't think that's going to go over very well. Nor I don't think they really want that to go over very well. I think the Canadian government would be barking up a tree that they really don't want the fruit that's going to fall from it, right? It's going to be really bad. I don't believe it has any... I believe the oil stuff is a nice incentive, but I do feel like there has been a lot of chaos brewing between the two countries, and now we have a reason to put our foot in their ass. That's what I believe. Why didn't we take out the Ayatollah in 86 when he was arming Sudan? I don't know. Bad presidential decisions. That's the year I was born, Overwatch, so I was a fetus and or a toddler. No, infant. I was an infant. So I can't really, I wasn't really around for those days, if you will. I could only guess why. People are saying one of the things they got to worry about is shipping containers coming from China, because some of the shipping containers right for China, which we showed the other day, that China has developed an entire line of weaponry that sits inside of a shipping container. Because if you are a Chinese boat, you are automatically part of the military, right? And having those Chinese ships show up, for example, could have anti-ship weapons in them, could have ground-based weapons in them, could have all kinds of stuff inside of them. And there was companies we found. It didn't take us more than 5 minutes of Googling last time to find that these weapons that sit inside these cargo containers exist. Not only they exist, but they're readily available and you can just buy them. So if we see a bunch of those coming from China, if it was me and I was a commander-in-chief, I'd sink them. Oops. I don't know how that torpedo got there. Because I have a feeling they are going to try to rearm Iran if the deal's good enough. Because again, Iran does ship oil and other services to China. And China right now is, Russia's kind of got its hands full, and China's being an asshole, and all over, only to us, but other nations that are within reach of their country, Japan, Philippines, Taiwan, etc. So there's that. U.S. strikes hit northern Iran as its disabled ships were trying to run blockades also. Apparently we had Iranian ships trying to run blockades we took out. Again, one of them said we shot a round right through its smokestack, destroyed the entire engine room. I mean, Reagan very much had a strong command and a lot of people behind him on both sides of the aisle, right? So I think as the years have gone on, the pendulum has swung wider and wider, and the sides have gotten wider apart. And because the sides have gotten wider in every direction, I believe that it's going to be harder for us to get, again, bipartisan people to agree on stuff. Yes, boots on the ground is always extremely unpopular because you're sending loved ones into harm's way, right? And so that's another issue, is that as much as we want to say we don't like war, or that we do like the war, putting boots on the ground is a very unpopular idea in any situation. The only time I think people are okay with it is probably World War II. And then you still had people out there yelling and screaming. Even during World War II, you had the beatniks coming out yelling at soldiers returning home. I didn't realize this until I was reading some books about soldiers returning in World War II. The majority of people were very patriotic and happy about what's going on. But there was still a group of people out there that said what we were doing to Germany and Japan specifically was horrible. And that, we are monsters and how dare us, we should never be in war and stuff like that. Now, mind you, it wasn't very well known until the last 20 years about Unit 731, which was doing stuff that was worse than the Nazis in Japan. Now, I don't know if that would change anyone's opinion on anything, but it is something that did happen. But I think it's going to be unpopular the whole time. I think also with Hezbollah, the problem with Hezbollah is that they have another nation stopping them from going in there and doing more stuff that they're trying to make peace with, right? Because like Lebanon, technically they're not at a full war with Lebanon. They're at a war with Hezbollah and the Houthis that are there, right? But if you start looking, like let's say they went full on against Lebanon and just started decimating everything, it might be easier. So the other thing we're doing, I don't know who the right chat was for, but all right. I don't know who Jay and Dan are, but I hope they enjoy pooping with each other in the shower. And hopefully they're both adults. If not, that's terrible. Apparently people are shitting in the showers. That's what's going on there. But we as a current nation and other nations around us are fighting a war of precision rather than devastation. That's what I was mentioning before. You have a sniper up in the building, you send people up in the building, or you blow up the building, right, to get those people out. Instead, though, we send a drone in through the window and we just take out that one room instead of the whole building. So we've moved from a nation of just carpet bombing to precision strikes. And I think that's also slowing things down because, you know, yes, you're killing certain people who are in charge and things like that. And it's force multiplication like a sniper. But I think also, like, you know, psychologically, I think it has ups and downs, is what I'm trying to say. So, but that is all the news I have for all you fine people today. That is my little 3-hour show for today. If anything else crazy happens, I will always jump back on. If you guys like to donate, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or buy me a coffee, that'd be great. There's not many updates today of the war. That's why I haven't started earlier. But I will be on tomorrow to give more updates. So if you haven't already, subscribe up, hit the like button. Appreciate it. I'm trying to just be here covering this up as much as possible. Let's cover up the war so no one knows what's going on. I'm trying to cover the war as much as possible. Raid the streamer who wants to poop in the shower. You know, I had another streamer I wanted to raid today. I'm going to see if they're on, and if so, we could raid them, but it doesn't look like they're on. It was another VTuber that was doing news, and they were very small. And I was thinking about raiding them, but now I don't see them, so who cares? So you have a good night, everyone. Take it easy. Yeah, I don't know who the shower pooper is, but guess go over there. I don't know. Muchas gracias, señor and señoritas. Muy bien. So you have a good night, everyone. Take it easy. I love you all. Thanks for being here. And I will see you all again tomorrow. Oh, I didn't do the thing. Oh, damn it. I didn't do the thing. I did the thing now. You have a good night, everyone. Take it easy. I love you all. Thanks for being here. All you new people, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to see you, and I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm on... Well, there's my schedule right there usually, but I've been on earlier than 6 the last few days. So you show up earlier than 6, I'll probably be here. Sweet dreams. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.